Noah's Ark 2x2 formation. Road change, now we go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action is go.
That's very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in. This has all got trouble written all over it. This is G3 cars.
Drop downhill, they head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, putting that truck inside line. Yes, oh, we did. Through he goes.
Oh, is that where I was? Oh, okay. All I knew was very dark. Yeah. No, it's good to be back. Sorry about missing last week. I'm seeing circumstances. No, there's not. But yeah, no, glad to be back. And yeah, it looks like you had some fun and games last week. But hopefully things will be a bit smoother tonight. Yeah, do run for it for me. But no, yeah, the music was good. Fine. It was current. That's what you want with music.
I can't get it going. Jay, feel for time.
Can they actually hear me, or?
Oh, they can hear you. Oh, I think they can hear us now. We're all good. Sorry about that. I don't know why. Streamlabs sometimes forgets that you've got a microphone plugged in. No idea. Well, welcome
I also
everybody.
like to give you a random string of numbers and letters instead
Yes,
of a
that
microphone.
random string of numbers.
They're really useful.
It's very weird, but guys, I can see the levels are working perfectly now. Sorry. Well, we'll do the intro again, shall we? We've got qualifying, just a couple more turns to go before we go in. They heard your intro, but nothing from me. I'm RageF1.
I mean, it's the best one we've ever done, but unfortunately they'll never hear it. So
we went really deep. Jamie did on some wildebeest. Anyway, I'm RageF1 and I'm joined this week by Jamie Ellis. He's back from his escapade in a wildlife park. And we were going through what happened last week with the resets, the restarts, and all of the drama that happened, but none of you heard any of it. So yeah, there we go. I'm sure if you were with us, you enjoyed the race in person. However, we're about to go for another couple of laps through Hungaroring. Now, Hungaroring's a good lap, isn't it? It's a good old track. But I've heard also it plays to the strengths of one driver. That driver is at the very peak at the moment, and that is Mr. Ripper, Luke Whitehead himself. It is his favourite track, Jay, I've heard.
okay, well, he's going to have the cooperation of his Porsche as well, which wasn't looking too handy in qualifying compared to where we normally see him. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's a very technical track. Obviously, there's not really much in the way of straights. It's all about getting the flow, keeping the car balanced from the left and right changes. Yeah, very technical, challenging track, and going to be interesting to see and get it right in qualifying. But yeah, it was the Ferraris and the Hondas that were looking particularly strong in practice. Not that you can always take too much from it, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. If it's his favourite track, I'm sure he can pull it out, even if the car isn't quite complying.
Yeah, I mean, the door's wide open for him, so I, for one, would like a Luke Whitehead climb through the rank, you know. I love it when he starts in 10th and has to get back up to first place. It's fantastic to watch. We're going to have some times coming in, Jay, very soon. Who is about to come across the line first? I think it's going to be the likes of Tinker van der Velde. It is. Mikhail Statsenko across the line as well. He's 3/10 off. Jipvanikas, I'm always pronouncing that right, but wrong, sorry, but we're going to go with it anyway. Angel Nostroza displaces Statsenko for second place. Tinker van der Velde's time of 1:42 is staying up there at the moment. Luke Whitehead, almost a second off, beaten by Remy Papin, the Tier 2 champion of many moons ago. He's been knocked off that spot, and he's not the highest Porsche either, Jay.
No, I would hazard a guess that something went wrong on that lap. You would expect a bit more out of him, but that lap from Tinker van der Velde, our season champion last time in season 11, of course, not had. Well, he's had a decent season, but the Ferrari hasn't really been playing to its strengths so far. It's looking like it is at the moment, because that's a fairly big margin for an opening foray into qualifying, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'd expect Luke to improve from there. I would equally, yes, I'd like to see him come through the field today, but equally, for the championship, not too far for it.
We're having an absolute mare on the whole stream management side of things today. The music was still coming through and everything. I'm completely muted to all of that, by the way, because I hate it. It's hideous. So much so that we didn't actually have the music on the build-up. So you only had it through the first 1 minute of the qualifying sessions. Guys, I'm really sorry. Won't happen again. Normally it runs like clockwork.
It probably will at some point.
Let's not beat around the bush. Thank you very much.
With it.
Background music. It's quite noisy. That's a very small understatement there. Sorry guys, we're back on track. We have done this before, I promise. Tinker van der Velde coming across the line for another lap. Don't think he improves. He's probably doing another push, isn't he?
That's Zenko that's now gone to the top of the field with a 42.0. So to match him in the 42.0s, Hardier is up to 4th. And Leon Burt, I think, moved up to 6th during all that as well. Walsingham in the Mercedes up to 9th as well, as Whitehead proves us all wrong with an unbelievable time into the 41s of a 1:41.6. Maybe that slow lap was very much a prep lap, because he's just knocked that out of the park.
I think so. I think it was one of those, let's build up and see what happens. But yeah, like you say, absolutely smashed it there. 4/10 clear of Statsenko's improvement on Tinker van der Velde's time. So yeah, brilliant stuff. He's got into the 1:41s. First time anyone's managed to do that. So congrats. It's good to see some cars on track, Jay. I'm not going to lie. We've been almost foaming at the mouth of some other four-wheeled cars coming out of the woodwork at the moment. But we're going to be concentrating entirely on the ones with doors this time around. No Formula 1 in sight for a couple of hours. Oh, some of them look amazing though, don't they? Let's go off piste slightly whilst we wait for us for the second set of push laps.
Do they?
Do you not think? You're
I
not
mean, I
happy?
like carbon fibre. I do.
Oh, they're lovely.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season for sure, but that's it's not what we're here for. But it is close.
Slapped me down straight away there. Tried to change the subject to Formula 1 and no, none of that. Jurapichenko, 4 tenths up, by the way. We'll keep you informed, boys. He's actually lost a tenth, though. I think he's following... oh, God, I hate to find out who that is. Who is that in the Honda there? Might be... no, it's not Statsenko, because his is normally green. Not too sure who's following, but I think it's causing him some problems. He's found another 10th, though. This could be on for a real good improvement here, Jay. This could go second place for Jurapichenko. Loves a rejoin, also loves a top 3 finish. There we go, Jurapichenko takes second place. Not enough to displace Luke Whitehead, but a fantastic lap all the same. Interesting stuff. Where's Boothby in all of this? Because he's running around in a Ferrari.
He's not here today, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
His daughter's not very well, so
Oh,
they
okay.
look after her, which is, of course, much more important.
I was going to make a joke, but then realised that you were talking about his children. Thought, yeah, probably not. Okay, well, let's move on quickly and swiftly to Harry Phillips. Get well soon, shall we? George Boothby's little girl, did you say?
I believe so.
Oh, dear. Well, get well soon. I'm sure he's watching, maybe. Who knows? Get well soon, George. I'm sure we'll see you back next week. You're not going to lose too many points because you haven't got any. Hey, he got a couple. He's 88 points, isn't he? I think at the moment. He's still got all the work to do. Rub it in a little bit
more
further.
than us.
Yeah, no more points for you today. Never mind. Right, Harry Phillips is about to come across the line in 17th place. He should improve here. Gets himself into the top 10, Jay. Nice. Bit of improvement there from Harry Phillips. Good to see. He's having a good start of the season, old Harry Phillips.
Yeah, he is pretty impressive at times last season, and yeah, carried that on into this one. Honda's didn't look quite as dominant the first race, but it's certainly here and last time out at Kota was definitely more competitive. So yeah, it's a decent time to move him up. It's Grand Scrack is coming to the line to start a lap, so yeah, they're all just winding up for their final efforts now. And we'll have to see, yeah, if the times start tumbling. I'm very surprised. I do wonder if the Porsches or Luke in particular was holding him back in that practice session, because he's really taken that out of nowhere.
Well, we do let him know, though. We keep an eye on what happens in practice, and other people do too. When I spoke to him last week, he was taking note of the likes of Tinker van der Velde, who did very well in practice in Kota, but it didn't really come out in the actual race. So yeah, maybe a little bit of sand in some bags, possibly. Yeah, potentially. That's the kind of games you have to play when the margins are this small. You don't want to be showing your competitors what you're doing. Even more so when they're in the same car as well. That's the other thing to bear in mind, because you can very much pick up tips, braking points, turn-ins. Luke Whitehead starting that lap, I just noticed, went so wide on the final corner as well to just square off that exit to get the best possible run. It's all little tricks like that you'll need to find the margins, but we'll see. The Ferraris are menacing, Rage. They are. Echenko, Van der Velde move themselves up in second, third on those last runs. Grant Scrax moved himself up to fourth fairly late in those runs as well. Teammate of Whitehead, of course, from BattleJay. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh, he paused the car over. He has abandoned that, yeah. He has. Very, very strange. Okay, well, it did look scrappy going through, I think it was turns 2 and 3. He was pushing quite hard through turn 2 on the front axle. So, I don't know, maybe didn't feel confident with that one. He'll go again. He's got enough time to do what he did last time, Jay. Do the old push lap and then go for another one straight after. You know, warm up those tyres. Obviously, struggling slightly, but he seems to have a game plan. So we'll keep an eye on what Luke Whitehead does. Talking of the likes of Jurapichenko, Tinker van der Velde, we are with Tinker at the moment, seeing he's going through, just coming into the second sector of this lap. Whereabouts is he? He's going over the really slow section, turn 6, turn 7, I think, going to 8 and 9. Not a fan of this section of track. It seems to be really hard when you start to lose tyre, but controls it brilliantly. As you'd expect from him, from our season 11 champion. Yeah, it's a really tricky section. It's one when you're really feeling it around here. It's one that feels brilliant to get right, and the right-hander afterwards as well. The flat out left and then the right-hander afterwards. But when you're having an off day or the car's heavy, yeah, it's so easy to push it too much on the first of those two corners to run wide on the second. 2 tenths up, Jay. It looks
I was going to say it looks tidy so far, and it definitely has then. If he's a couple of attempts off, coming to the line, might steal a little slipstream from the Ferrari ahead to put himself up into P2. Not quite enough to displace Luke Whitehead, but he will have enough time to go again.
Yes, definitely. Well, there you go. Who'd have thunk it? Jura Petrchenko, Tinker van der Velde, second and third place. Yeah, well. Who else have we got? Grantis Cracker Sandwich by the looks of things. We've got Veloce Sandwich, they're acting as the bread. Ferrari in the middle. Lovely gooey centre there. Who else have we got who can challenge? Statsenko in the Honda. Then we've got Jardier just a little bit further back. Adrian in Strozer. And then we've got a wild and crazy... Oh, lovely livery there from Visceral Esports for Aidan Walsingham.
You got a split for Petrchenko. He's just come around the final corner. He's been on a hot lap as well.
He's on the bubble, I'm
very
afraid.
tidy.
Yeah, no change, I don't think, for him. Or if it was very small.
Okay, not to worry.
Not to worry.
It's a 10th. Well, half 10th. Consolidated that third place then.
Yeah, it's annoying seeing as there's such small margins in this series. I can only see when it goes over the last 10th, so you don't get 0.5s here, unfortunately. Never mind. Adrian Strozer, though, he is improving massively. 4 tenths up at the moment. Whereabouts is he? He's just gone through turn 11, Jay. He's coming into the final sector, so this could be a real turnout for the books here. We could have a Honda up inside the top 2. You never know. If you can find some tenths here in this final sector, he could actually threaten for the lead. He's 6 tenths up, Jay. We might have a change. We'll go on board for him. He's got a lovely livery this afternoon. Lovely electric yellow number. He's following an Audi, which is normally very quick. Oh, a little bit of a wobble through the final corner, turn 14. He's dropped to 10th. Oh, it's cost him pole, Jay.
Of little mistakes, laps are made and broken, but that's still an incredible effort to put himself onto the front row provisionally. I wonder if that Audi just put him off a little bit in that final corner. He didn't get close enough, I don't think, for the aero to take effect, but it's those little things that can just mean that you get that little twitch that we saw. But he will try to go again, although he is tucked up behind that Audi, which was quicker than last time round. But yeah, who else have we got that can threaten into the top 10 then?
Well, technically we've got Statsenko at the moment. Can't really tell whereabouts he is on track. I think he's coming through turn 13. He's only 2 tenths up and he's lost that. Where's Luke Whitehead then? He's a second down. This is the final push lap then for Luke Whitehead. He's done the actual the game plan, Jay, of doing 2 laps and then coming out fighting in the final one. So maybe let's go on board, watch his lines. Turn 1 seems to be quite good. He's following a Ferrari here. Can't tell who that is at the moment, but he's on the bubble. No improvements. Sorry?
Samir Foch.
Ah, okay, Samir Foch. Fair enough. It's a good benchmark that. He will need to get past him though. How much disk time has he got in between him? Him and Samir is probably 2 tenths. Is he 2 tenths a lap quicker? Probably.
Well, Samir's unfortunately down in P31 today in that Ferrari, which has looked very competitive in the hands of Van der Velde and Petrchenko. So yeah, he might struggle with traffic here, Luke. We'll have to wait and see. We've got Strozer in the pit lane, Van der Velde in, Jardier in, so they will not be improving. So yeah, we're looking at Luke, Petrchenko, Statsenko, Caracas.
Oh, he's pulled it over, Jay. No more from him. And the man who could threaten here, Jura Petrchenko, runs on by. He doesn't seem affected by that. He was actually following Luke Whitehead through that final sector. As we join him coming through turn 11, he's a 10th up. Leon Burnt was 3 tenths up and he's lost it. He's now in the pit. Jura Petrchenko then, the only man I think at the moment who can threaten. He's found a 10th again. Statsenko on the bubble, just lost a 10th. Grantis Caracas in 7th. He's also a threat here. You never know what's going to happen though. Jura Petrchenko could throw a spanner in the works. He's 2 tenths up, Jay. We could have an absolute nightmare here for Luke Whitehead. He's thrown away 2 push laps that he could have possibly improved on. Couldn't find the pace there. Jura Petrchenko rounds the final corner. Turn 14, he's 2 tenths up, he's lost the time, Jay. He's not going to improve enough. It's 4th place for Jura, and I'm pretty sure that's our grid today.
Yeah, unlucky. Again, that small improvement, not quite enough. The same from Grantis Caracas. I think it might have moved him above Leon Burnt, or just slightly improved his position. But yeah, that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be towards the end. Cracking laps from Strozer and Van der Velde in 3 different manufacturer of cars as well, which bodes very well for the race. Really decent effort again from Jardier and Statsenko, 5th and 6th in those Hondas. They're always going to be dangerous as well. And Caracas, you'd argue, maybe slightly out of position. compared to where his pace has been compared to Luke so far this season. So, and then yeah, the rest of the top 10, Leon Burnt, Jacob Focus, and Harry Phillips. Great efforts from them again, and Walsingham in that Merc. Was he in the Merc last year? I think there was a stray Merc last year that seemed to always outperform where you feel.
Harry Phillips, wasn't it? Or was he in? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Harry Phillips.
Harry Phillips was Honda again last year, wasn't
he? No, he was. Yeah, maybe the year before that he was in an AMG Mercedes. Not too sure. No, I can't remember off the top of my head.
The thing is, it's always really difficult.
I do remember it now. It's Felix Hacker, wasn't it? That was in the Mercedes.
There always seems to only be one or two of them, which makes it really difficult to know whether they're outperforming the car or not. When there's not as many of them, but still a really decent effort from him in P11.
Yeah, fantastic effort, really. I think standout efforts there, like you say, Angel Estrosza and Tinker Van der Velde, fantastic. Jardier as well in 5th place. Grandis Caracas, a little bit lackluster today. Well, maybe couldn't get what Luke Whitehead could out of that car, but yeah, I think Luke, we saw a little bit of a chink in the armour today. Didn't quite put down, his stamp like he has done at the beginning of the season, so could be something to watch for. I mean, he's still pole, but might not have been pole if Estrosza didn't get that little wiggle going through turn 14 on his second push lap. But hey, there we go. Is what it is. Luke Whitehead and Angel will be on the front row of the grid. Second row will be Tinker Van der Velde and Jura Petchenko. Third row will be Jardier and Mikhail Stetsenko. We've got 4th row will be Grantis Caracas and Leon Burnt. 5th row will be Tadas and Harry Phillips. Then 6th row will be Aidan Walshingham and Alexandra Lee. We've got 7th row will be Matthias Kuhn and Nikita. Then we have, where are we going? Valentin Barrier and Vanko Dimitrov will be 8th row. 9th row will be Arthur Patter and Vladislav Kolostov. And then 10th row will be Mattia Campo and Andrew McWilliam. 11th row will be Matthias Litio and Jordan Watson. Then going further back, 12th row would be Luke Southall, Cody Sherratt. 13th would be Leonard McAvin and Gert Fischer. 14th, Matslin Anderson and Remy Papin. That's a nice little row to start on. Then where are we? 14th row, I think? No, 15th row would be Jack Oliver and Philippe Slasky. We've got Christoph Makowski and Jamie Nuttall further back from them. Joris Apple, Samir Foch, 33 and 34, unfortunately for them. We've got a couple of new names here. Tim Patchman, he'll be in 35th place with Jonas Fawkes next to him. Alejandro Perez and Darren King's joined us again. Fantastic news for him, but he'll be starting at the back almost in 38th place. Matteo Naldi and Anton Tarasov in 39th, 40th place. And Julian Naumann and Lucas Schickenberger in last place this afternoon in an AMG Mercedes, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this could be a very interesting first couple of laps, not just because of how close it is up the front here, but I just saw the track switch from greasy to green. So it's not rubbered up, and it's been a damp track that it's dry now, just switched over. But there's going to be very little grip with those brimmed fuel tanks. So yeah, I mean it's pretty tricky with 41 cars trying to negotiate the Hungaroring at the best of times. With a lack of grip with full fuel, I think we could see plenty of incidents in this one. But yeah, just adds a little bit of spice to that start of the race as well. I get the feeling Luke's, I mean, you say it's his favourite track, but I wonder if he's just outperformed the car a bit there, because the Porsches, say, haven't looked strong all the way through practice, and looking at the rest of the top 5 or 6, he is alone in that sense. So yeah, we'll see. But he's been imperious so far in the season 12, so you wouldn't bet against him again. But interested to see how Angel Estrosza gets on that front row as well. If he can get a good jump, this could be his day.
It could be. You know, you got Tinker Van der Velde and Jura Petchenko biting the heels as well, so you never know what's going to go on there.
They're no slouches. No.
They're no slouches, and then you've got Jardier and Statsenko behind. So, look, anything can happen, normally does, in turn 1. We're on board at the moment with current reigning champ. I love saying that about Tinker Van der Velde. Current reigning champ Tinko. We'll just start the first part of this warm-up lap with him as he finds his way around before we go live. But yeah, I mean, did he outperform in the qualifying session? Well, he wasn't able to match it, was he? He wasn't comfortable with his other attempts. So, you know, one would say that it's quite possible that he did. Statsenko then is the highest behind him points-wise, 160. He starts in 6th place, so he's got a bit of work to do. Grantis Caracas is in 3rd place in the championship, and he's that little bit further behind, so he's in 7th place, so work there. Jardier has improved both of those. He's in 4th place in the championship, so he's in a nice position starting this race. Jure Petrchenko, though, the real winner, he's 12th place in the championship. He's just got to stay where he is, really, and get a fantastic finish this afternoon. If he can jump Tinko at the beginning, it'll be even better. So really good performance from him. Just talking at the standouts, really. Leon Berndt, 10th place in the championship. He starts 8th. Tadas is gone down a little bit. He's 5th in championship and he'll be starting 9th. Harry Phillips, always a Harry Phillips fan. He's 13th place in the championship, starting this race in 10th. And yeah, the out of place AMG Mercedes there in Walsingham. I don't know where he is in the championship. I can't even see him on the list, Jay. So he's really doing well. 29th place. Oh no, sorry. I let him down slightly. 28th place in the championship with 12 points. So yeah, all he has to do is finish in that top part of the grid and get himself a whole bunch of points. A plethora, Joe.
Yeah, best finish of 20th out of the first 2 races. So yeah, he'll be really hoping that he can find something in that Mercedes. He's done his job in qualifying. I didn't realise Dimitrov is in 16th in another AMG. So yeah, maybe it is a bit stronger around here. There is a couple of them. They're outnumbered heavily, but there are a couple of them. One's really struggling around here are the BMWs. Yes. Fisher was looking good early on, looking good in practice. Unfortunately, only good enough for P25 on the grid. But as I say, it's a green track, fairly low temperatures. It's not hot anyway. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunity for people to make up places if they can keep their heads on the opening laps then.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. Well, Luke Whitehead is coming through, I think, turn 13 now. He's got Angel Inestrosa next to him, flanked by Tinko van der Velde, Jure Petrchenko and Jardier all there in the picture. Grantis Caracas in the same livery, as you can see, just next to Statsenko and Leon Berndt. This is going to be a good start here. It's a fast old straight, isn't it, down into turn 1. Turn 1's wide as well. You've got a nice area to run round if you want to. You can push it round the outside. You can try a little bit of the runoff if you want to try and get a better run down to turn 2. And turn 2 is always a place for overtaking as well, Jay. So we could see anything happen at the start of this, what is race 3 of season 12 of AOR's Tier 1. Luke Whitehead far away in the championship. Can anyone do anything to stop the Ripper from running away from this one so far? No one's had any answers. Let's see if Inestrosa and Tinko van der Velde can do anything about it. We've gone green, we've gone live. He gets a fantastic start, Jay. Inestrosa has to cover off Tinko. I think they're going to go 3 wide. There goes Jardier on the inside. Tries to make a move, but no one happens. And we've got Statsenko around the outside. I told you there's a couple of lines here, Jay.
Yeah, there's big contact though. Jardier into Statsenko, and I think that was might have been Petrchenko, who looked like he had a fairly decent start, but yeah, he got caught up there. And looks like he's dropped about 13th or 14th place, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a brilliant start from Luke Whitehead. Got a great jump. And then, yeah, they all looked like they were struggling for grip a little bit as they ran wide into turn 1. Yeah, that's a desperate start for Petrchenko, unfortunately. Outside the top 10 now. We'll have to look to recover from there.
Yeah, we had a couple of cars going wide. I can't remember what turn. It's turn 4, I think. The fast left-hander. I saw a car well out on the rumble strip. It might have been the BMW of Luke Southall.
Oh, there's a big incident at the back of the field. Jack Oliver,
okay.
I think Samir Foch might have been caught up as well. Darren King, unfortunately. A lot of big names at the wrong end of the grid. That's a lot of damage.
Looks like Oliver spun. I didn't see the beginning of it, but he definitely got absolutely sideswiped. So he'll be coming in for some...
Oh, Petrchenko's back on the grass. He's really not having a good start from 4th place on the grid. He's now back into the 20s.
Oh, jeez. Never mind for Jure Petrchenko. So he obviously got caught up somewhere. I won't go back now because I don't think we'll be able to catch on the action, but he's right in the middle of that pack now, Jay. He's taking out some other cars in the middle. Oh, that looks like that was Koloslov caught up in that. Luke Southall, possibly, maybe McWilliam, I think, also caught up in that. That wasn't a very good start then for Jure Petrchenko. Oh, God, driving angry maybe. Got a brilliant start, but yeah, taking people out left, right and centre.
Yeah, I don't know if there was damage on that incident on turn 1. But yeah, he's definitely struggled on the rest of that lap, and that's a lot of cars caught up, unfortunately, at the latter part of the lap, which created an absolute mob going into turn 1 of drivers recovering. And
he's not having fun,
it was Gert Fischer as well, was the other BMW that was caught up in that as well, unfortunately. Back at the front, though, Luke Whitehead does lead, not by much, about half a second ahead of Angel Rastroza, Tinko van der Velde, Hardier, Caracas, Leon Burnt, Harry Phillips, Walsingham in that lone Mercedes, or dual Mercedes with Dimitrov, has got himself nicely up into the top 10, avoiding those early incidents. And all looking fairly stable in the top 10 for now then.
Jura Petrchenko shot us all with his dual barrel shotgun there as he came through turn 4. We got the lovely shotgun audio glitch, so apologies for everyone there. Firing shots left, right and centre. It's only lap 2. Jura Petrchenko in trouble, it seems. At least it happened then and not at the end, because it seems to gather in intensity if the shotgun happens later on. No idea why that's still a thing, but apparently it is. Tinker van der Velde then on the rear bumper of Angel Rastroza. Look like they've got a little bit closer, Jay. Did anything happen between those two? Not sure if they did. Grantis Caracas is still getting pretty close to the back of Jardier then. Is he back to full health? Is Luke Whitehead back to full health? They were both unwell last time around. Yeah, interesting to see. Jardier on the back of a second place finish. He's inside the top 5 again, Jay. Good
yeah,
form.
No, definitely finding his feet in that Honda, coming under pressure from the other Veloce car of Caracas at the moment then. But as good a start as he could have hoped for up into P4. Yeah, Luke Whitehead not exactly scampering away. The gap's definitely staying fairly steady. It does look like Jardier is the one that's starting to drop off out of those top 5 or 6. Coming under pressure from Grantis Caracas and Leon Burnt going with him. And it's Aidan Walsingham in that Merc. It's all over the back of Harry Phillips for 7th and 8th as well.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we should focus on that for a minute, because it's nice to see him go through. You can tell of the new paint livery updates that I was thrusted at the beginning of this race. Aidan Walsingham is the beneficiary of that paint update. Looks ferocious. You probably don't have this, Jay. It's a lovely white, red and black number. It looks really mean. I'm sure he's probably white for you, or black maybe, I don't know. But it looks fantastic. He's got a teammate in that. I think it was the... there's another one. No, it's the other AMG of Dimitrov, I think, that also is in the Visceral camp. Let's just double check. He's in P16.
He is indeed.
And he's also got it. Yeah, there you go. Looks fantastic on that AMG Mercedes. Maybe that's why it's doing so well. Both team members with the same car.
You might want to drop back to 10th and 11th. Nikita and Kun going wheel to wheel. There was a bit of contact. Kun's actually hit Mateus back. And Valentin Barrier, ever the poacher, has snuck through the inside of the pair of them. The contact now between Statsenko and Nikita. The two Hondas bumping wheels into the final couple of corners. Kun, and who's this? Alexander Lee getting in on the action at the back of it as well. Ferocious scrap at the back end of the top 10 here.
Yep, it is indeed. I went back because I thought it was a big crash, because normally when you scream there's a big crash. It wasn't, it was just a little tap. But it doesn't matter. We got sorry again.
There's 3 or 4 of them.
There was a few of them, yeah. So Nikita losing positions. Valentin Barrier in 10th place. So that's, yeah, we've got some movement going on at the back of the pack, I see. Statsenko, why is he back so far? He must have had an absolute nightmare. I swear he started a lot further up. Did he maybe come together with...
Statsenko, I think, was the Honda that made contact with
Jura
Petrchenko into turn 1, into turn 3, sorry, yeah. So he made a really good start. He was actually ahead of Angel Rastroza into turn 1. I think it was those two that made contact with each other, yeah, unfortunately.
Never mind. Well, we're on board with Dimitrov at the moment because he's really close on the back of Mattia De Campo in the Porsche. Really, really close. We've got lots of AMG action this afternoon, it seems. Aidan Walsingham very close to Harry Phillips, but not able to find a way past. Sausage facts incoming from Arcatoothis. Thank you very much. You keep them coming. What are we having? Lincolnshires? Chipolatas? What's your favourite sausage, Jay?
Lincolnshire sounds pretty good to me.
It does.
Right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Keep them plain for me. A little bit of salt and pepper. Can't go wrong. Sausage was first mentioned in Homer's most famous work, Odyssey, more than 2,700 years ago. We've been cracking sausages for 2,700 years, apparently. Banging bangers, Jay.
They'll be here long after we're dead. So.
Oh, they will be. They're lovely. Lovely
Out with
tubes of
everything
meat.
a sausage.
You can never go wrong with a sausage. Luke Whitehead.
It's just nicely packaged.
It is.
All convenient there, the little flavour tube. Can't go wrong.
Fantastic little tube of flavour. Did come out of Velde. Trying to get back, desperately trying to get back on track. Did come out of Velde. Does he reckon he likes a sausage? Where's he from? Isn't he Dutch? He probably loves one, doesn't he? He's in third place. He's hunting though, and Stroza looks like he's falling back a little from his position. Grantis Caracas, he definitely likes a sausage. He's in fifth place behind Jardier. That gap is getting smaller as well. Another good run today. 9th place for Tadas. He's right behind Aining Walsingham for position, who's right behind Harry Phillips. So we can kind of see this battle between all of these cars if I stay with Grantis Caracas, because he's currently hunting down, as I said, Jardier for 4th place. No big moves in the top 5, Jay. We're kind of where we are at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, it's Jardier that's continuing to struggle, and that gap's continuing to increase between himself and the top 3. Yeah, I don't know if there was a small mistake somewhere for Angel, but that's what's created the little gap. Bit of breathing room for Luke at the front, but it's those front 3 that are fighting away. And then, yeah, an almighty scrap behind Hardier at the moment. Just dropping back a little bit into that top 10. There's still ferocious scrapping going on, but I don't think the positions have changed too much. Yeah, still Van Timbarrian, P10, Nikita from Statsenko, Alexander Lee, Kun and De Campo in 15th now.
I think Grantis Caracas might have a run here on Jardier. He had a bit of a scrappy turn 14. He looked like he was getting close, but I think it's just struggling on the pace of that the Porsche. It just doesn't have any of it. So it's struggling down the straights, but really gaining through the corners. So where does Grantis Caracas make the move? I feel this is a running thing for Grantis. He's not had really the pace, as in a straight line, to get past. We haven't seen him be a threat like you see Luke Whitehead being when he knows he must get past. So good driver, obviously fantastically fast, but not quite got that fighting spirit through the corners that we know and love from Luke Whitehead. He hasn't got the panel beaters on side, Jay, is what I'm trying to say.
No, well, maybe they're all over in Luke's side of the garage. He's a little worried about making a mistake and to turn up at his pit box to find it occupied. But yeah, it's a contentious point in sim racing in general at the moment, is the Porsche. That it's historically, and the newer version even more so, probably the quickest GT3 car in a straight line in actual competition.
Right.
Yeah, in sim racing, it can't get past anything for love or money.
Yeah, that's a bit silly, that.
So, yeah, it's struggling. I mean, they generally are so good on the nose and so good with the downforce that if you gave it the straight line speed advantage that it should have as well, then you're not really bopping it, to be fair. So I see why they do it, but yeah, it's a frustration for Grantis Caracas at the moment. Talking of where he's going to do it, we saw how much better he was on the brakes into turn 1 last time. So he'll just have to stay as close as he can out of this final corner. Tries to take a bit of a narrower line, maybe just to unsettle Jardier a little bit and see that Honda still moving a little bit. The track is still showing as green, so they're probably struggling for grip out there as well, but you can see that Honda start to pull away down the main straight. So yeah, he's going to have to get as late as he dares on the brakes, close up, and then maybe a lunge into turn 2. But he can afford to be a little bit. Sorry?
He's round. It almost looks like he was going round the outside of turn 1. I can just about see him. We're on board, literally, with Aidan Walsingham as he got very close to Harry Phillips. He's been close to Harry Phillips for the whole race as Harry Phillips goes wide. Little bit of a skip in turn 2. Turn 3 looks good, though. Oh, the Honda's nice this time, isn't it? Not been bopped completely. Aidan Walsingham, though, seems rather tasty in the AMG this afternoon, doesn't he? The AMG seems quite speedy, just generally. Dimitrov in 16th place, Aidan in 8th. Probably the highest we've seen one of these cars up, but it sounds fantastic, doesn't it?
It does indeed, Jay. You can't go wrong with the sound of that V8 in the Merc. It is a glorious motor. Yeah, I'm wondering if the Hondas are just struggling a little bit with tyre temp, because we saw in Stroza drop off a little bit, although he's got that back to Luke Whitehead now. Obviously, Ardier's definitely struggling at the front of that, and we saw the back end going in turn 2 for Harry Phillips there as well. I've just realised this is our bumper race of the season.
Is it?
This is our 90-minute race. Yes.
Oh, it is. Christ, I thought that was
We
Bathurst.
probably want to talk about that a bit.
I had no idea. I thought that was going to be Bathurst. I was completely oblivious to that. That's historically normally the middle race of the season, but apparently it's today. Why have they not run that in Bathurst? Do you think it's because it is Bathurst? Oh, I was looking forward to 90 minutes of Bathurst. Never mind. How many times can you say Bathurst in one setting? Okay.
I reckon a couple more.
I reckon so.
If you really try, it would be better at Bathurst, to be fair, but Bathurst is the next race on from this one, which is the one before Bathurst. But yeah, it means it changes the strategy a little bit for this one. And may also explain why they're struggling a little bit. They'd be on higher fuel than they normally would be in the 60-minute race. So there's still only the one mandatory stop, so they're going to have to run the fuel tanks for at least half an hour. At the earliest point of arrival, and probably most of them splitting it over the 45-minute stints. And maybe we got a bit more time to talk about some nonsense today than normal.
We do. We're warranted to start talking about sausages. Mini Simeon's taking the mick of how we say Bathurst. We're Southern, mate, and we're also English, so unfortunately it's just how it's spelt. Bathurst will be next week, and it will be the standard 60 minutes down and up the mountain, as we've got 90 minutes around here. Yeah, fantastic talking about Bathurst earlier on, Jay. You got it in multiple times, I like it. But yeah, well, we're in Hungaroring for a full 90. Never mind, we've got 16 minutes.
I'll even give
left of the hour.
Simeon as my mum's northern. I know it's supposed to be Bathurst, but
Bathurst, isn't it?
we are southern.
Yeah.
So
We're allowed.
away from that, I'm afraid it will always be Bath. To us.
It's always Bathurst, mate. Oh, I like Bathurst. Never mind. Well, we're still going there, but
We'll still be in Bathurst for
Are
the
you sure?
Bathurst race.
When's Bathurst?
Bathurst is at the time that the Bathurst race is.
And that's next week, isn't it? And it's just a standard 60 minutes around Bathurst, isn't it?
It is, and then we might go to Bathurst if you're lucky.
Only if you're lucky. Right. Well, at the moment we're on board with Grantis Crag. I heard also up to facts that aren't involving Bathurst that Grantis's name is pronounced Caracas, not Caracas. I was politely reminded that we're saying it wrong, so it's Caracas, I think is how it's said. Grantis Caracas.
That's going to take some time to get used to, but I'll endeavour to do it. Grantis Caracas, then.
Yeah,
That
Caracas.
that was sort of a hybrid of the two.
Caracas. He's causing a Caracas in B5 at the moment. Not quite enough of a Caracas to put Hardier out of a position and burn into a lucky place. But never mind, he will continue to cause Caracas. I'm not going to be able to say it correct now, am I?
No, I think you made
Caracas.
it worse, if anything.
Caracas?
Because I don't know what I'm saying now.
It's Caracas.
As interestingly here, we got Philip Slasky in the number 12 Ferrari in between Van der Velde and Jardier.
Yes.
And I think that caused the gap to extend at the front to over a second as well when they were getting through that traffic. So this could be a key moment for Jardier and for Grantis Caracas. Is that any better? No idea.
Caracas.
Caracas.
Yes, that's better.
Caracas, cool. Yeah, this will be a key moment as to how kind Felipe will be letting him through. And you can see Grantis. Let's go Grantis all the time. That'll be easier. We'll be getting that wrong as well.
I don't know.
All over the back of him. So we'll see if this will help. But it looks like Philip should just lift off a little bit here, and you can see the extra slipstream that Jardier is getting. To extend that gap even further.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got a chain. No, it wasn't. He was letting him pass. Never mind. I got excited for nothing. He got well out of the way, Jay. There was no impeding there at all. And Hardier was let straight past, wasn't he, Jardier? Sorry, he was let straight past. There was no interruption at all from that back marker. What? Who is the back marker getting in the way there?
It's Philip Slasky.
Ah. Okay. Well done for moving out the way.
Who promptly then lost the back end and very kindly let Leon burn through by losing the back end. Yeah, it's those kind of things on which, especially these longer races, that can decide these things. They're normally so close, they follow each other by a couple of attempts for sometimes the entirety of the race. Those little breakups from the traffic, as it's just Leon Burnt go all over the grass on the rear of turn 7 there. He's really wringing the neck of it to try and get himself up onto the back of Grantis. We've got drive-through a little further down the field as well.
Ooh, lovely. Who's that involving?
Perez, number 11 Perez in the AMR V8 Vantage. So he's obviously done something in all that chaos on the opening laps to indue the wrath of the stewards. Then,
If it's a drive-through, that'll be a game-enforced penalty.
will it? Okay, so maybe track limits.
There he is. He's in the old the Aston Martin. There's two Aston Martins together literally at the moment. We've got Matteo Naldi following Alejandro Perez. There was some action apparently in P15. Latho, Southall, all of that I think were involved. We've already been told by chat that we missed it, but you know, it's what it is. Unfortunately, we can't see it all. Normally, we miss all of the good bits, but we can still talk about some things.
On board with Vanko Dimitrov, make a move down the outside into turn 1 on Koloslov. He'll run it out all the way to the edge. He'll have the inside line for turn 2 then. Should get it done under braking, although famously people do hang it around the outside here in turn 2. Which he'll try to do. There is a little bit of contact on exit.
Fantastic.
He couldn't have really gone anywhere else, Dimitrov. That was all the room he had, and he gets himself up into P17 then. He was banging on the door 16th, 15th earlier, so I think he's dropped back a little bit, isn't he? As in maybe recovering.
Vanislav Kolosov, the best by far paint livery of the season. A lovely golden purple number on that Honda, looks fantastic. Part of the, I'm going to really butcher this, Armentario Project DM team. There we go. He is currently running around in 18th place. Yeah, is he losing the positions, or are we talking about Dimitrov in the AMG? No, he's always about 16th, 15th, 16th. So maybe
well, Dimitrov just overtook Koloslov.
Oh.
So I think it is a beautiful livery. I agree. So yeah, and it's a beautiful livery that's just been rear-ended and ruined by Remy Papin in the number 6 Honda for the Cosmos Racing team. That was far too late on the brakes, son.
Oh, rejoin of the season. There we go. Koloslov back on the track, almost taking out Schukenberger there, and actually pushing him wide. That was commentator's curse right there, wasn't it? Literally.
It was.
Never mind.
Which other liveries do you like the look of?
Oh, I'm not going to say. Well, Jardier in P4 currently, followed by Grantis Caracas. These guys are still scrapping. Still scrapping for 4th place. We've not seen any movement. Maybe been able to get that tyre under control. He was hampered by tyres last time around. Did you watch the race last time, Joe? When you were inside the wheelbase?
Seen clips of it.
Seen little bits.
Yeah, the bandwidth wasn't great.
Oh, was it not?
in the darkness. So, yeah, he's doing really well to hold on. He drives very well defensively, Jardier, and definitely seems to have got the handle on that Honda at the moment. Someone that hasn't so much got the handle on the Honda is Angel Inostroza. He's now dropped nearly 2 seconds back from Luke Whitehead. He's got Van der Velde all over the rear of that 96 Honda, and a Van der Velde that's might be getting a little impatient soon as well, as he sees that gap eke out to Luke Whitehead up front.
Well, PlayStation Man is in 2nd place. Not threatening, is he? At the moment, he's definitely on the back foot and defending. So, Jay, seeing this is a 90-minute one, what the difference is between a 90-minute and a 60-minute race here at AOR?
Now, it's going to be all about strategy. I'm just going to talk through Van der Velde into turn 1, because he is all over the back of Angel Inostroza. Angel goes very defensive. He'll take the inside line. He'll try to feed the car back to the outside to at least get some kind of turning point. The gap was always disappearing for Van der Velde, but yeah, Angel Inostroza, there's a flash of the lights from Tinko to say he's not too happy with that one. The problem, you go so defensive so early there that you're never going to be able to open up the corner in time and always drift wide. But they state status quo in P2 and P3 at the moment. Another flash of the lights from Tinko. He's really not impressed by that one. Yeah, it's mostly the strategy, right? So we don't have any more mandatory stops. It's still just the one mandatory stop, but it just gives you a bit more flexibility in how you can run the strategy.
The main key point of the strategy that's involved with the 90-minute race, Jay?
What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure you can refuel your car, Jay.
Oh, could you not do that in the 60?
No.
Didn't know that. Right,
no refueling
okay.
at all in the 60 minutes, but definitely refueling in the 90.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a widely different strategy then.
Yeah.
You probably should have led on that one.
Sorry.
When you realised I wasn't picking up on it. It's all good. It's all good.
That's right. Kept
Yeah, well, that's where I was going. But
Oh, I know, yeah, no, exactly.
Bed.
That's what you meant. I just, I led the horse to water, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you're always doing with me. Yeah, it's gives you a wider range with that fuel, obviously, as well. So the few extremes of the options, you could obviously go very short on the first stint to have that quick car to get yourself an advantage. Then you have to run longer for an hour on a heavy, pretty much endurance fuel tank. You can split it down the middle for the best car at all times, and you're probably not going to kill your tyres too badly by the end. Or you go the complete opposite. You the equivalent to being on the hard tyres in Formula 1. You go as long as possible, try and stay out of trouble, hopefully get some clear air once everybody pits, and then your car is nice and light and quick at the end of the stint. Or anything mixture of the above.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Well, talking of Formula 1, what's the best looking one so far, do you reckon?
It's really picking the best of a bad bunch, isn't it? But
oh my god, we can go back to 2017 if you want, and we can get into the phallus front end if you want. You can really push it.
Yeah, but the liveries were really good.
Were they?
Yeah, well, they were mostly colour. There was twice as much paint on the car.
We have an orange car at the moment. It's fantastic.
They're all fairly decent. Nothing really stands out to me
I
too
think
much. I like Haas's change.
What, just took the blue out of the equation?
Yeah, I think. Well, no. Looking at it from different angles, like it looks completely different from the front and from the side when it's on track, which is quite nice. I quite like how it looks from that sense. The Mercedes, no, sorry.
It's lovely.
It's yeah, we're going back to our black car. Great, but it's just because it's got yellow numbers.
I just like it. Looks cool.
The numbers are colour, the rest of it's black.
Look, we've got a team where you've got George, Lewis, and Mick. Like, what could go wrong? And what more could you want?
Oh, the team's brilliant.
Fantastic. Best team.
And the racing's going to be great, hopefully, this season. But I don't care about an all-black car. It's the lowest effort you could make.
Right. Okay. Well, Jay's obviously got
just
very
one colour.
strong feelings about this.
If someone turned up with an all-white car or an all-blue car, no other colours apart from the numbers, I'd be making the same criticism.
Okay.
Unless you're Ferrari, because that's different.
I was going to say, Ferrari question mark? Well, I mean, I think the most boring one was obviously the Red Bull, wasn't it? Because it's always the same. You don't really have to guess the paint scheme, do you? Same with Ferrari. I thought the Alpines could have done something a bit better. Obviously not. No.
Well, at least they got two liveries. They can change it up again.
Are they? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
They got the old pink and the blue
Yeah.
for the BWT events that they want to run it in.
They do look like an ice cream parlour, though, which is quite funny.
Now, it's prime commentating. I mean, what more would you expect?
Yeah.
It's a 90-minute race.
we
Normally, the race would only just be starting. We've got to buy ourselves some time.
We do. Right, well, we're on board with Tinko. He's still hunting. So is Grant Skarakis, you can see there in the back of the picture. Tinko van der Velde, though, is that little bit closer, it seems. Where do you find the way past, really? It's tough. At least the Ferrari's that little bit quicker down the straights, though, Jay. That's the opportunity, I guess. Got to try something different, like he did a couple of laps ago. Trying different lines there, almost getting caught out in the braking zone into 13, but manages to get a bit of free air.
Yeah, it's definitely down to turn one. You're right on the fact he's got the better straight line speed. He did a little bit of unsettling there, which was quite smart. He went a little bit deeper in the corner to make Van der Velde cut the corner off. Again, Van der Velde goes... Angel Instoser goes incredibly defensive to that inside line, but he's drifting all the way back out. Keep it straight for the braking sun. He's gone way too deep there. Van der Velde will cut back underneath, say thank you very much. And he's clear even before they're going to get to the braking zone of turn two. Then Angel will try it round the outside. He might as well give it a go. But yeah, Van der Velde, that's the move he's been looking for. Angel's been struggling for the last 3 or 4 laps. It's cost him 4.5 seconds to our race lead, Luke Whitehead, but he is finally passed. He is. Well, now Tinko can have a go, I guess. It's 4 seconds, nearly 5. He's got to make up. It's not completely undoable. A little bit of a different strategy. Could possibly pull something off here, Jay.
It's going to take a miracle, I think, for Tinko to get closer to Luke. Luke's got a very nice gap in hand. But all of this action and nonsense has pretty much got Jardier and Grantis Caracas in, hasn't it? Pull them right up.
Yeah, they've closed right up to the back of that. There's another almighty scrap going on between Harry Phillips, Aidan Walsingham, Tadas, and Valentine Barry has now caught the back of them. That's for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. But yeah, this might be a good opportunity for Jardier here to get himself out of defence mode, because he's definitely had the pace over Angel in front while he's been defending. So we'll see if he can make a move, turn defence into attack, and get Grantis off his tail, which I'm sure he wouldn't mind for a little bit. And yeah, it's an hour race, so you never know for Tinko. You can do something quite drastically different on the strategy if you want to try it. And obviously tyre wear is going to come much more into effect of a race of this length. So yeah, still opportunity.
There is, definitely. Inestrosa went deep again in turn 1, going on board with the other scrap that's happening around this kind of area. And it looks like Valentine Barrier has got a run on Tadas. Not sure if it's all complete. I think they're side by side down into turn 2. Oh, he's going to run around the outside. Not sure if he's got enough space, but he's got half the car up the outside. But there was a little nudge there. And the NSX, unfortunately, has been forced a little bit further off the road than his competitor and has to settle for 10th place. No improvement for him. Tadas stays where he is, as Grantis Caracas still on the back of Jardier, who's getting closer to Angel with every lap. Let's go on board with them. This gaggle seems to be getting a little hot under the collar, Jay.
Yeah, these guys will be sweating right now. It's intense. It's very small margins. Yeah, we've seen again quite a strange one between Valentine Barry and Tadas, that they don't quite seem to know how wide their cars are. But there's nothing Tadas could have done really. He was all the way onto the curb, similar to what we saw with Tinko and Angel 4 or 5 laps ago. It's just, I think, the nature of this track.
It's such a hard braking zone, that, mate. You know, you're all in at the point of braking, and if you're like, I don't know, half a metre later than the person next to you, you're almost at the mercy of the person on the outside that you've just gone straight up the inside of. So it is a tough one, that braking zone. And if you try and shove one down the inside, it's like, oh God, is he going to leave me space? Are we going to make it? It's a bit 50-50, isn't it?
Well, that's it. And in Valentine's case there as well, you can't go too wide there like you could in, say, a Formula 1 car that we see quite often, because you don't have the downforce to hold on. You will just skate off the track. So you've got to keep relatively close to the apex of the corner, and then you are playing with very fine margins between the two cars. So it's what we saw. It wasn't the worst incident in the world, but yeah, it set Valentine back a little bit for now.
It has. Well, you just saw there in your picture that Jura Petrchenko has made his pit stop, and he's, I think, he's the highest up of the pitters that had a few problems at the beginning of this race. So Jura's decided.
Hang on again, Valentine around the outside of turn 4, trying to look for a move on Aidan Walsingham. That looked like it was going to be a lot spicier. No, it's all right. He's actually got past Tadas, so I don't know if he let him through or Tadas made a mistake. Walsingham was then shaping up a move on Harry Phillips, and Valentine was almost around the outside of turn 4. You don't really want to do that. Walsingham runs wide onto the grass. You're going to have to concede that. That's quite gentlemanly driving there, to be honest. He realised fairly early on that he couldn't close back the apex in time. Just recovers himself, and he's still in the fight.
He is. Talking of Team Honda, did you see the news today, Jay? Off-piste again?
What, the will they, won't they of Honda for 2026?
Yes.
Been going on for about 2 years
Yes.
now. Yes. I'm still none the wiser,
yes.
But it'd be great to see them back in.
Do you reckon old JB will be back in the car?
We can but hope.
We can only but hope.
Find him another back marker to ruin his career and put someone into the barrier at Monaco.
Bring back 2008 Jensen, that's what I want to see.
I've never gone through such a range of emotions than that weekend. Seeing my hero come back in a Formula 1 car and then end with the most embarrassing crash of all time.
Never mind. Oh, it can't be the most embarrassing crash of all time. Didn't you have...
No, that's probably Lance Stroll when he just forgot that there was a corner and
Many of the
practice
greats.
session years ago.
Many of the
where
greats
he
have
just-
forgotten corners. I think
Was it Suzuka where he just went off the track and he was like interviewed? He's like, yeah, I forgot.
Oh, is it Coulthard that went straight on in the pits? Pretty sure
yeah, he did
he's
that
had
as
a
well,
disaster.
yeah.
Lewis had the disaster in China, do you remember? It all happens sometimes.
Yeah, I mean they were in race situations like where you're pushing to get time on the pit lane.
I think he said, I got lost, didn't he, or something similar. He went down the complete wrong turn at the very end. It was the final sector, wasn't it, I think? A couple of seasons ago, or last season. I do remember, actually.
Yeah, it was the hairpin, I think, near the hairpin at Suzuka, maybe, not sure.
Who knows? Who knows? Farmer says, damn, all the big boys race here, they do! I never knew, and now you do. Tell your friends, promise, tell your friends. They'll all be interested. We've got the likes of Luke Whitehead, Tika van der Merle, Andrew Strozer, Shardier, Grantis Krakis, Leon Byrne, Harry Phillips and Valentine Barrier all going toe-to-toe. We're watching Valentine Barrier at the moment with Walsingham just behind. Tadas and Statsenko also in the fray. Statsenko a little bit further back. Nikita's nowhere this race. He's been all over the top 10 the past couple of weeks. But yeah, he's all at sea around Hungaroring today.
Yeah, well, he was caught up in quite a few of those bumps and scrapes that we saw about half an hour ago, where all the Hondas felt like they were decided to crash each other off for a change. Valentine thinking about a move on Harry Phillips into turn one, just letting him know he's there, and we'll follow on for now. He's shown pretty good pace. He's come through from sort of 12th, 13th place nicely into the top 10 now, Valentine. And he was fairly high up in Kota as well, wasn't he?
Valentine Barrier.
Yeah,
Should we have a look where he finished?
something of a resurgence. Yeah, he was
7th above
P7,
Harry Phillips. Yeah. It wasn't a bad finish neither, was it, for Leon Byrne, sorry. Tadas and Grantis Krakis. Lithuania doing well last week, weren't they? We've got two Lithuanians now. Grantis Krakis and Tadas Jukvinikas, all inside the top 5. They are Lithuanian, aren't they? Pretty sure they are. Yellow, then green, then
You're
red.
asking the wrong person.
Yellow, then
I
green,
don't.
then
I don't
red.
approach nationalities after last year.
Oh god, yeah, no, we don't go there, do we? Never mind. I don't think you can put your foot wrong that time this season, or can you? Yes, you can. Moving on.
Let's not know.
Moving on.
I'd
Moving
rather
on.
not know.
Oh, you're moving on. Never mind.
Yeah. What's quite interesting, I mean, it's not really a massive influence on the race. It's just quite interesting. Petchenko, after that early incident, coming out of the pits from that early stop, he's right in the thick of it with the leaders. He's on the back of Grantis Krakis, correct?
Caracas?
Oh, I'll get there. Caracas.
Caracas. Fine.
At the moment, Leon Burt, he's in between him and Leon Byrne at the moment. It's quite interesting to see his pace. He'll obviously have fresh tyres on at the moment, but a lot of fuel. And yeah, it's just quite interesting to see him in there, really. Hopefully he doesn't do anything too crazy.
Who's that, Jura?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got fresh tyres, isn't he? Fresh tyres. He's refueled, so yeah, fresh tyres but heavy car. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way. Leon Byrne, though, he's old enough and wide enough to find a way through, I reckon. What's happening with the Walsingham battle that we've been so brilliantly watching? Tadas Jurvenikas a little bit further, the other Lithuanian that's chasing, in 10th place. Adrian Walsingham's actually found the track this time, and he's trying to get past Valentine Barrier, who's chasing Harry Phillips. It hasn't changed, Jay. We're all chasing Hondas,
There's a
mate.
little sniff from Aiden into turn one, aren't we all? A lifelong dream. Yeah, a little sniff into turn one, but nothing more than that. Just more letting him know he's there. He had a few scrappy laps, did Aiden, but he's definitely recovered at the moment and putting on the most pressure of these four at the moment, you'd have to say. Just drive a slightly different line to the Hondas, see if he can get himself interested. But then they just pull away in those high-speed corners. They're so planted. Lots of downforce on the Honda, and that's where he's losing that little bit of time. And it's put Valentine all over the back of Harry Phillips now. To see if he can find a way to make a move into turn one. So he'll need to set it up. He'll need to try and pick a slightly different line into the final corner, either going narrower to push him wide or going wider to push him narrower. He's done neither, so he'll rely on the slipstream and the power of the Honda down the main straight.
Oh, brilliant. Never ceases to make me laugh, Jay. Now, if I can see all these drivers trying different tactics, different lines, different braking zones, Where do you reckon you can learn that kind of thing if you're sitting at home going, oh, up the inside for Valentin Barrier. Harry Phillips caught napping. I was going to go straight to a little bit of an ad break there, but no. Valentin Barrier absolutely smashes past Harry Phillips. And he's going to get smashed by Eddie Walsingham. What's happened to Harry? He's disappeared in this final part of this final section of before you pit and whatever it's called. What's gone on? Harry's all at sea. Doing so well.
It's absolutely a carbon copy of what we keep seeing, is that it's the last moment where you think, right, now go a bit more right so you don't make contact, and they do. They're the smallest of taps that they might just get away with it, but they're taps nonetheless.
I didn't see a tap on ours. Maybe you saw a tap on yours. I didn't see no taps. No taps here. Was there a tap?
Yeah, there's a tap on the back left and the front right. It's the back left of Valentin Barrier on Harry Phillips. So yeah, he got the move done and then just drifted slightly into his front left, which is what we keep seeing. It's just at the last moment there's a little bit of contact, not enough to say for sure that it's gone good or bad, but enough that you would feel that they should be avoiding it.
Well, the gap up ahead has eked out a little bit, Jay. Instroza, Charlier and Grantis Caracas all have separated by over half a second. Neil Byrne.
Caracas is in.
Is he? Interesting.
Yeah, he's going to be the first to pull the trigger, so it's about 6 minutes off halfway through.
That could be very interesting, couldn't it?
Yeah, well, we've seen the undercut work very well before, and this could be his opportunity to get himself into a net third past Jardier and Angel. Do it off the track. It's a smart thing to do.
His Lithuanian his countryman's coming too, Jay. Vinicus is in. So's Leto, so's Dimitrov. Some early pits, Jay.
Yep, only slightly early in the grand scheme of things, but enough for a decent undercut.
Thunder, Jay.
I didn't mean it in that sense, but you know. Sure, why not?
We still do have a race going on here between Walsingham and Harry Phillips. Walsingham seems very, very threatening in this first section on the back of Harry Phillips, but never can kind of pull it off. He's quick in the twisties. Is that AMG? Looks like a good all-round car, doesn't it, really?
Well, he's really good through here last time, and then it's the next 2 or 3 corners that we saw that Honda disappear. So we'll see if it's a trait that continues. Okay, through the first one, fairly equal. It's going to drift a little wide there. It's going to cost him on exit, and then it was through here last time. The Honda's just disappeared.
Oh yeah,
not quite as much.
Still gains. Oh, a little bit of a twisty exit for Harry Phillips. A little bit squirrely. Manages to keep the car on the track though. Who's going to pull the trigger next, Jay?
It's going to be Leon Burnt, who's going to come in from a provisional P5. I think he was provisionally P6 or 7 for the last stop. So he's going to find himself in the pit. So Jardier carries on, as does Angel Inestrosa, as does Tinko van der Velde and Luke Whitehead. A lot of traffic. I wondered why the gap had come down a bit at the front. It's now under 4 seconds. It's because Luke Whitehead's just had to deal with the mother of all traffic, which Tinko van der Velde is now going to have to. Well, it was 3 cars that were fairly close. It was not the mother of all traffic, but
there was enough of it.
Cost him a bit, yeah.
Okay, right. Well, who were you watching earlier?
This is where you can be smart if you're Tinko van der Velde. If you come in this lap before you take the traffic. Gap down to 3.7. I doubt he's going to get much more than that out of him. Well, he's definitely going to lose out passing these cars. So, not a bad idea. Sorry, do carry on.
No, it's fine, it's fine. Good little bit of strategy there. Yeah, you can see this is the gaggle. Oh, there's a crash in the gaggle. There's gaggle complications. Tinko van der Velde finds his way through.
Gagging of Lucas and Papin.
Oh dear, Papin looks like he caused absolute chaos back there. Luckily, though, I don't know what BMW it is, managed to get past the gaggle. Number 34. Or he's either that or he's 34th place. It wasn't a big incident. I think we're okay. So, you're right.
Yeah,
Tinko van der Velde could come in. Sorry.
No. It's lost him 4 temps now.
He's not coming in.
Well, no, the 2 of the cars are now out the way. It's just the BMW, but the BMW, who is that? That is Macavin. is refusing to move out the way at the moment, no matter how much Tinko uses those lights. They might need to change those lights on that Ferrari after this race because he's been using them a fair bit.
He has.
Oh, and that Audi's not going to help. That's Jonas Forks. That is for position with McAvin then, and that
Well,
could.
that's why.
Yeah, they're not going to give that up. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Because presumably those guys were fighting, probably trying to undercut each other. Tinko goes through, and he's losing a hell of a lot of time now. Yeah. Jardier is in, by the way, for P4.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, that is a very good call from Jardier to come in now, considering what's going on with Tinko van der Velde. If it's a good swap over, then Tinko...
Oh, he's hit the back of the BMW.
Oh, dear.
I don't know if he tried to come off the throttle there, McAvin, but that was it was big enough contact to make visible damage on the back of the BMW. Get an external view. This looks like a tiny bit of damage on the Ferrari, but not too bad.
That was avoidable, wasn't it?
Absolutely. You're right. That might be a really good call then from... Well, Angel's in the mother of all traffic as well. I think Hardier is going to jump him here. If you jump on board with Angel in Nostroza, he's got cars all over the place in front of him as well.
Is Angel... No, Angel hasn't come in yet, has he? No, he hasn't.
No. So Jardier is trying to undercut him here. And looks like he might be on track to do so.
Yeah. Richard saying, why is he blinking like a beep? Should that be a penalty? I mean, excessive blinking. I think he's got a reason to blink there, to be quite honest. Yeah, there was no need to cause that problem, as he does come in there, in Stroza, that is. So Jardier's been in.
He is, and he's got Leon burnt all over the back of him.
He
Leon
does.
burnt a lap before that, so that shows that the undercut's working, because Leon burnt was a good second and a half, 2 seconds behind those two.
Crucially though, Jay, Grantis Caracas has got past. So that's the jump that we were all looking for. Grantis Caracas passed Jardier. He wasn't past him, was he? He never got past
Oh, you're right.
on.
You're right.
So that's the big jump. Considering we've had all of this instance going on ahead, we could have Grantis Caracas overtaking those boys that had problems, the likes of Tinko van der Velde and Inestroza. So it is feasible that we could go Veloci 1-2.
Yeah, he's definitely going to clear Inestroza. I think Inestroza might be cleared by Hardier and Leon Burnt as well this time. So yeah, Grantis Caracas potentially P3 at worst, and maybe P2. I don't know if Tinko was held up enough for that. I'll have to wait and see. Angel is moving.
Yeah, Caracas though, he's just leaving the pit exit. He's gone. Yeah, jumpy.
Indeed.
Got him
And Inestroza has managed to stay ahead of that Honda battle then. It's going to be a trio of Hondas, and he's going to have to get those tyres up to temperature incredibly quickly. But he has made that work. Maybe just having to look over his shoulder, Jardier, Leon has just taken enough time out of that lap to allow Inestroza to stay ahead.
Just about. So Grantis then is the threat here. Let's see what happens with Tinko van der Velde, whether he's actually managed to get past him. And that is the real question, isn't it, really? Because Angel Inestroza was second place, remember, Jay? So he's had an absolute nightmare in that whole pit sector. I can't see, with what happened to Tinko van der Velde, him still being ahead, as the Porsche there kicks up a load of dirt, doesn't lose time.
Go on. 3 tenths between them on the last lap. Van der Velde was slower, so he is definitely taking time out of him. So yeah, he's got to get in at some point, Van der Velde. Whitehead's also about 3 or 4 tenths slower, but he's obviously got an extra 5 seconds to play with. So yeah, I mean, Angel hasn't done too badly out of it. He stayed ahead of the key one, I think, which was Burn and Jardier, because that would have been definitely bad to worse if he dropped behind those two.
Just having a look what's happened with this little battle we were watching earlier. It looks like Walsingham has managed to get past Valentin Barrier and Juk Vinicus. So that's a good little scout for him. I can't remember who else was in that battle. There was one more, wasn't there?
Harry Phillips, was it?
It was,
who is
yes.
On exit now.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, let's go on board then. I think he's passed him. I think that was him going past, wasn't it, Joe?
And Barrier's gonna look on the outside into turn 1 then. You want to get it done quickly if he can. Crucially, Harry Phillips gets all 4 wheels in front of him. Will we see a dive bomb from Valentin Barrier here into turn 2? While the tyres are cold, Harry Phillips defends the inside so early on the brakes, though, that Tadas almost collects both Hondas into turn 2. And I don't think he'll have a chance up the hill, so Harry Phillips should be able to get the temperature. But you're right, we'll see him to the front of that field quite considerably now. And that'll be him, yeah, up into, I think, 7th place once it all sorts itself out.
Yep. He's got Perez, unfortunately, in front of him, and he's flashing like a madman to try and get past him, because this is costing him that lovely bit of time that he had in hand. So frustration for Walsingham. Brilliant undercut, but he's being penalised now by Perez not moving out the way. Alejandro, please. He's got to be screaming in that cockpit. Please, Alejandro. 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 Sorry, I had to get in there.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, as much as I'm enjoying that, I think you would rather see the outcome of the battle you were talking about a few laps ago. Van der Velde is in the pits then.
He is, yes. He's just left.
And
Yeah.
Caracas is coming out of the final corner, so it's going to be fairly close, but I think Van der Velde is going to have it. He's definitely closer than he was.
Yes, you're right. There's Tinker Van der Velde in the front of the picture there, managing to get out. Well, Grantis is going to be able to close up, so we might have a little bit of a fight later on. But yeah, I mean, it looks like he's held on, hasn't it, really? Yeah, 2nd place, I think, Tinker Van der Velde. How far back is Instroza? 2 seconds. Okay, well, all fair at the moment. Just trying to think who the big loser out of that was, and it's got to be, I guess, Angel slightly. Grantis Caracas manages to get a couple of positions out of that. Jardier stays roughly where he is. Leon Burnt does very well too. Look at the likes of Lee and Kun. They've done fantastically out of that. Oh no, down they go. Fantastic.
Yes, Taken's, yeah, he's battling with Lee and I think that's Mikowski all over the back of him. Mikowski's going to try and go around the outside of him. It's fairly interesting to watch. The other Mercedes Dimitrov that's on the back of them as well. Those 4 have been scrapping pretty much for the entire race so far.
They have been.
They still cannot be separated. But back to the days of you don't know where to look.
I
These
know.
races, action all the way through, even for these extended races.
It's fine. Well, we're on board with Dimitrov at the moment. Mikowski's kind of got up in position quite well, hasn't he, there, the number 47? I haven't really seen him all race, to be fair, Mikowski.
No, we were talking about the BMWs not being that strong here. Gert Fischer's got himself up a few places since 21st, and yeah, Mikowski's up in 17th in that BMW, so yeah, fairly decent so far.
The big losers, Luke Southall. He definitely wasn't 35th at the start of this race. Talking of big losers, Darren King is out of this race. So's Jack Oliver, so's the Apple Man, so's Philip Stalski. Remy Papin also, well, he's in the pit, might be out of this race, Jake.
Yeah, we saw that quite a few of those that you mentioned caught up fairly early on. Darren King especially with that big incident on lap 1. Samir Foch and a few others involved. It's a shame, sometimes it just doesn't go for you. Sometimes you got to try and recover, which is, I'm keeping one eye on Petrochenko to see, because these are the kind of races, you know, he was, where was he? Oh no, it's, no, don't worry. It's Tadas that I was thinking of that was in, was doing really well in the top 5. Yeah, no, Petrochenko's P12. He did start P4.
He did.
P12 in the standings.
Well, what's the difference between Tinker Van der Velde and others then at the moment? So Luke Whitehead's yet to come in. Could he be losing a lot of time, Jay? He's actually just come in. Could he be losing a lot of time here with that late pit?
Van der Velde's gone straight into the 43s. Grantis is stayed in the 42s, so he's definitely been 2 or 3 tenths quicker. But I would say Van der Velde's not quick enough. No, it's only maybe a tenth or 2 slower than the times Luke Whitehead was doing. So yeah, he might be under 4 seconds when it shakes out at the end of this, but it's not going to be the big gain. Potentially swing it, but he's going to be in sight. And now it's a straight fight. You know, Van der Velde had to fight his way through. Luke Whitehead has been out front pretty much, well, has been from the start. So now we'll see what kind of pace they both got. As Van der Velde did the 42.6 on that lap, to be fair. He's found some pace now. So Whitehead's going to have to hit pedal to the metal fairly quickly to make sure that that gap isn't eaten any more into.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but have we changed around where Angel Inestrosa is? Was he always 6th place? I think he was. He's fine.
Amir Foch hasn't pitted.
He has not.
That's where the rogue entity is. As Jardier jumps past him, and now Leon Burnt will try to. I know Samir and Jardier are very good friends.
You're not suggesting inter-team action, Jay?
He's not letting Leon Burnt through. No, I'm not. Not for 1 second. I mean, they're not teammates anymore.
They're not. But he's not letting
still
past.
To be fair, this is for position.
Oh, yes.
Because he hasn't pitted, so.
Okay.
The other car that hasn't pitted as well was Anton Tarasov, who I could see off towards the barriers last lap. He's now in the
also
middle.
hasn't pitted, but he's leading currently.
Oh, that's so far up I didn't notice. Yeah, no, to be fair. I was talking about Petrchenko's recovery. He's back in the pits with a 15-second penalty.
No. Kun's just got himself a 5-second penalty. Not too sure what for. I might have to find out, Jay. Find out what that penalty was for. I'll go on board with the craziness that we were just watching with Harry Phillips, Tarasov, who's come in.
Yep, so he's making that stop now. So that will release Tadas back into that battle, but he's lost a second or so because of it. And yeah, battle of these two Hondas resumes. Barry will be a little sick of looking at the back of it by the end of this. Maybe enough to take him out, but no. Gets it stopped eventually. He was a lot later on the brakes. But thankfully, no contact between the two.
So, a couple of penalties to discuss. Matthias Kern, as you can see on the screen, he's got a 5-second time penalty. That's involving him and, oh goodness, 132 and 317. Not too sure who 317 is, but there we go. 5 seconds for him. No penalty, no license points will be taken for that. 317 is Nikita, by the way. There we go. So there's a crash between those two. And there was also some crashes that might explain what happened further behind. The Appleman got a 20-second time penalty and 2 license points for a collision that involved cars 126, 270, 434 and 888 on that one. So there you go. Penalties starting to filter their way through into this race, Jay.
Yeah, that was the instant. 888 Smith Foch, so that's the one that caught up Darren King, Smith Foch, and a few others that you've just named as well. So yeah, I was going to say glad to see someone has been punished for that, but you never know. They can very easily be racing incidents when there's that many cars involved.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, him decided to have a slap on the wrist for that one.
Such a hard slap on the wrist that he left again.
Wow.
He did. He's
knocked out his Ethernet.
It literally did. Knocked the Wi-Fi straight out of his computer. Adam Orscombe going very wide down the back straight, possibly to cool tyres, but it's not calling them offline. Oh, blimey. Valentin Barry almost finding the back.
Getting so close in turn one, lap after lap.
I know, right? Let's go on board with Valentin Barry, I reckon. It's getting spicy, isn't it, between these two boys? Let's see if we've got some differing lines. I think this is probably the same rear end of car we've been watching almost this whole race. Harry Phillips seems to be the centre of attention this afternoon.
He does. He's still doing fairly well, though. Up in, I think that'll be P9 now that Nikita's finally relinquished the lead from to take his mandatory stop. So, yes, lower end of the top 10. He's doing a great job so far. And he's still keeping Walsingham in his sights to the point that it's not quite over. Actually, Smith Foch still to make a stop as well, isn't he? So this will be 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. And Tadas, unfortunately, we just talked about the back marker just losing him a second or so. That's just been enough for him to drop off that pack, and that can just happen with racing. If you've just found a bit more pace in the race because you're following people closely, as soon as you're in free air or dropped off the back of it, you lose that time again. And you almost forget how to drive. You're so used to staring at the back of the car in front. It's one of the many mental games you have to play. I was always one of those. I always found more in the race, and then as soon as I lost the car in front, I'd suddenly lose a second lap and think, how on earth has that happened?
If you haven't got a barge, you know, a stick to measure yourself against, sometimes it can be hard to find those.
Basically, I'm quite bad, so having someone to follow helps us balance the barrier again. Must be a tactic on Harry Phillips to try and scare him off at turn 1.
Well, it is a wild thing.
It's going to go wrong at some point, it is indeed. It's another one for best liveries. I do like that car.
Or Harry Phillips.
Yeah.
Yeah, his livery's always been quite nice, hasn't it? The Wild Things livery.
Yeah,
it's the only
looks
Wild Things
pretty
car,
good.
isn't it? I think it's just Harry. I don't think there's another one, at least in this season. Might be one in Tier 2, not too sure. But it's a nice car all the same. Well, let's go through the grid then. I think he's pretty much where it needs to be, with one anomaly that is Foch, but we'll work around him. Luke Whitehead then currently leading. Tinker van der Velde, I have noticed, has slowly been eating into Luke Whitehead.
He's eking.
He is, and this is quite interesting because Luke Whitehead last race suffered at the end with poor performance in that Porsche. So I think he might genuinely be struggling a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that gap. Tinker van der Velde is the fastest man out there at the moment. So we'll
about to say, yeah.
Yes.
Talking of lap times, they've Caracas
Yep.
was doing brilliantly. It's years of, well, not as long as you to change it, and you've changed it in half an hour, to be fair, so I won't moan. Was been in the 42.8s, 42.7s since he put those tyres on, and that was considerably quicker than anyone else. Both Tinker van der Velde and Whitehead are now in the low 40s. 42s, sorry. And as I'm sure you're about to say, yeah, Tinko, fast man on track with 42.0, Whitehead of 42.2. They're comfortably 7 or 8 tenths quicker than the rest of the field. This is what happens when you have a battle for the lead hot up. They are absolutely wringing the neck of those things.
Well, Tinko's in a car that he knows well, isn't he? He's back in a Ferrari, so not surprised that he's managing to get pace. He has actually dropped back a few tenths since we saw him put the hammer down. But yeah, I mean, look, we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. I remember last time out, Luke Whitehead said he struggled, but we did have changeable conditions, so you know that could all be leading into it. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that split time. I know Tinko's not had a great lap this one, so it could just be that it wasn't just a very good one. This battle that we're seeing, that we're watching on screen though, is still hotting up. Harry Phillips still getting the better of Valentin Barrier, but they are both slowly catching up to Aidan Walshingham, who is suffering a little bit in the AMG Mercedes. But hey, it's the highest I've seen a Mercedes up for a long time, Jay.
Yeah, no, he's going really well this race, as was his teammate Dimitrov, who's got a 10-second penalty, unfortunately, in P17. But yeah, definitely a stronger showing from them. And yeah, Walsingham will just hope that he doesn't run any wider, firstly, on that turn. That's given Harry Phillips a sniff, and that's given Barrier a sniff down the inside.
That's scrappy.
He's just barged his way through. It wasn't massive contacts, but it was enough.
In my opinion, it's not worth the wrath of the stewards on that. Anyway.
It all depend. I'm sure he'll give it a go at trying to get past Walsingham. If he can't, then maybe you're right. Yeah, needs to relinquish that. Didn't look as much contact as we saw last time he tried to get past Phillips, but that definitely looked more influential in terms of him getting past, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'd be a little bit miffed if I was Harry Phillips there. A couple of taps he's taken now when the same driver's passed him. But yeah, I mean, Harry Phillips was just avoiding action was something that was happening in front of him and loses the position. I know that's racing, but there we go. It wasn't the cleanest of passes from the man we're watching right now, but it wasn't the last time either, so I guess that's just noted, isn't it? If you're his competitor, you've got to know that something like that happens. I don't think it was intentional. It's just the way it happened. The way the cookie crumbles.
He saw it opening up.
Yeah, he's got to go for it, hasn't he? If you no longer go for a gap, Jay.
Exactly, I'm not 100% convinced that was a gap though, but as he almost tries to push Walsingham through the left-right chicane, Harry Phillips looks to get a bit of own back as he muscles his way past. He'll have to hang it round the outside now. There's more contact between Barrier and Phillips.
Oh, he did get his own back, Jay. Dave Benson Phillips will be very proud of that move, but he didn't hold on to the position. He will have to try again, unless he'll be gunged, mate. definitely straight into the 90s anecdotes there. If anyone
I was
recognises
going to say, retire now,
those.
mate. You're not going to get a better reference than get your own back.
You're not going to get a better reference.
There's a drive-through for Harry Phillips.
Harry Belly's here.
Him being pushed off there has, I think, tipped him over the track limits, unfortunately, and that is a horrible consequence of the battle we've just seen.
Dear.
So that's really going to hurt his race. It's going to put him to the back end, probably into the 20s, around Jamie Nuttall and Gert Fischer even. And yeah, that couldn't really be more disastrous for him. It's a shame. I guess it's one of those things, unless you're in a voice chat with the stewards or have teammates that can go over, you can't really protest that if it was the result of someone pushing you off.
No, that's unfortunately the nuance of having a live penalty system. He's got it. Oh no, he's come out the pits. I was going to say he's got it removed. Yeah, I mean, unless you've got a team of people able to argue that, you've got a couple of laps to do that drive-through, haven't you? You've got to do it within 3 laps, I think. I think it's the rule.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you could technically have that decision overturned if you had someone there arguing it, or you could do the 2 laps and hope that the stewards are watching that and go, come on, hopefully you saw that. That wasn't all good cricket. And hopefully we could get that removed, but obviously he's decided better of it and get that penalty done. Has absolutely destroyed his race.
Yeah, exactly, unfortunately. And yeah, he did dive in straight away, which, yeah, maybe was slightly naive to just maybe give it a couple of laps, go for the full extent of it and see if it had been spotted. Although, to be honest, it was 50-50 in the bumper races there, to be honest. During that battle, it definitely wasn't the lap before, which I think is what caused the issues between them and for them to go so hard on it. But yeah, it's put him back to, I think, his P22 now, unfortunately, after what was a great race. What's the fuel tank size of a Ferrari? I think we're going to find out, because Samir Foch doesn't want to pit at the moment. As he gets dive bombed by Aidan Walsingham into turn 1, his tyres will be screaming enough, and Valentin Barrier gets himself through as well. Now, Mercedes versus Honda into turn 2. Valentin Barrier can maybe breathe a bit more of a sigh of relief and be a bit more patient with this. Now he doesn't have Harry Phillips breathing down his neck. Ford about to move into turn 2. And we'll have to stay where he is for the moment.
He will. In all this, KUNOS has been in P10 and been quite quiet, really. Valentin Barrier very aggressive on the attack. And Walsingham not falling for that, covering off just enough. And I think we'll see another move before the next lap's out, Jay, because I think Valentin Barrier wants past as soon as possible.
I'd hate to see Valentin Barrier in like in our level of endurance racing, like a tier 2 or tier 3 level endurance racing, because I think he'd scare the entire field off the track. The way that he's pouncing all over the back of these guys, and thankfully they've got the. Oh, I'm losing words. I wasn't prepared for an hour race. I run out after 60 minutes if I'm not prepared for it. I go for a word and it doesn't exist.
He's got the coconuts to back up the defence.
Yeah, not all what I was going to say, but yeah, that'll do.
Yeah,
and we'll move on.
Went a bit left field, mate, but we're still there. He's not quite got past. He's threatened enough. I'm not too sure what Walsingham's doing there with that wild defence to the pit wall. Maybe it's slightly colder over there. I've got no idea what his reasoning would be. It's just maybe a show of force. You're not going to get past the inside. He lost a position with Harry Phillips doing that earlier on as he gets a scrappy apex, but manages to hold on the exit. Let's run through what's happening towards the top. Inestrosa is 4/10 back from Grantus. Might see a change out there. The gap between Tinker and Whitehead has kind of widened slightly. So, yeah, interesting to see what happens with that. Now, obviously with a really late pit, Nikita has managed to get past almost everyone in his way, and he's pushed the way past Latho for 12th place. Well done, Nikita. Lee is up next for him. You can see in the top of the picture there as he just goes through turns 5. So Alexandra Lee is next for Nikita, and we'll hopefully see the number 317 car improve for the latter end of this race, because he's got very fresh tyres and he's got a very, very light car. So yeah, one to watch to get inside the top 10. I think he possibly could actually get up to Tadas. Talking of Mr. Tadas, he, I think, has just got past Samir Foch. And we've got the fight that we were watching just ahead with Valentin Barrier and Aidan Walsingham. There's a little wrap up there, Jay. Keep all of your tenses tingling.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd keep an eye on Statsenko at the back of that group as well, in P14. He's been coming through. He was lower end of the teens, and he seems to be the quickest of those three at the moment. He's out of position from obviously a good top 10 qualifying, getting caught up early on, so he's recovering, so don't count him out to get towards the back end of the top 10 as well. Yeah, you're right, Valentin Barrier will try to frighten his next victim off into turn 1. We'll see him at the moment. To go back to your point of him going all the way over to the pit wall, I think it's just a habit thing. It makes the driver behind you do something a bit different rather than just getting
breaks
that
the concentration, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't afford not to go over with them. It breaks slipstream a little bit, but yeah, I think it's more of a habit, more of a show of not so much you're not going to get past, but I'm just going to make you go the real long way around and make you move about a bit.
Yeah, realise that you are actually in a race and you're not asleep going through the motions, right?
Yeah, exactly. It sort of decreases the chance of surprising a move into turn 1. But yeah, definitely the battle to watch then is Angel Inostroza on the back of Grantis. And he's closed up steadily over the last sort of 10 minutes or so, isn't he? And Jardier is definitely holding on in that other Honda. You did mention about the Porsches and the tyres towards the end of the stint.
Yep.
Karakas did stop a lot earlier than these two as well. I say a lot earlier, 2 to 3 laps, but it makes a difference.
It does.
Especially when these stints are this long. So yeah, he's going to come under pressure for the final podium position with 21 minutes to go then. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see. You were right with Nikita's pace. He's actually pulled, 2 seconds away.
He's got Foch now. The immovable object has met.
He's already moved.
Okay.
But yeah, how big is the fuel tank of the Ferrari?
I think we're going to find out, Joe.
Apparently, it's already an hour and 9 minutes, hour and 9 over the line. I can't imagine he's going to go much longer than this, but also I don't know that this is a boxed event for fuel tanks, so whatever the max of that Ferrari is theoretically is what they're going to use.
Yep. Karakas losing the rear end of the car through 4. Manages to hold on though, Jay. It looks to me that old Angel Inostroza is kind of, oh my goodness gracious me, they've both gone. Angel got the worst of it though, Jay.
He was trying to react. Karakas beautifully holds on to the rear end. That's the greatest dummy I've ever seen anyone send. I'm going to pretend to spin so that you do. Yeah, hugely unfortunate. I think Angel was prepping for trying to, for a code brown, which happened anyway, and B, trying to find his way past a sideways Porsche, but Karakas held on to it, and that leaves 2 in the battle for the podium then.
What a shame.
Such a shame, yeah.
Never mind. Yeah, mirroring what you were saying, Jay. Karakas held on to it like an absolute champ. He's now down in 6th place now.
I'm not unconvinced that wasn't a play.
Really? Can you imagine?
Right, throw the pretend spin.
Can you imagine?
This'll get him. I mean, it'd be the most genius thing I've ever seen.
Multi-20 spin, please. Oh, he's held on. I told you he was losing the rear. Those tyres were not holding on. So we might see some more moves from people around him. Look who's coming up the rear, Jay. It's your boy.
Is it my boy?
It is your boy. Jardier is in P4. He's closing up the gap to Mantis Karakas.
He is, yeah. And from struggling so early on in those cool conditions with the green track, he's now got an opportunity at, this will be back-to-back podiums. And we'll probably move him into the top 3 in the championship, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. We've got 18 minutes to try and find a way, and to make sure Grantis doesn't pull the same trick on him.
Yep.
Yeah, just looking through then. So yeah, Nikita is, well, he's pulled away from Statsenko. But actually, Satsenko, now he's been released, his pace is very good as well, P12. So both of them are coming hard at Alexander Lee and Tadas, whose struggles are continuing a little bit. So I could see that lot closing up as well, especially if the Walsingham-Valentine fight gets a bit spicy as well. You could see a real close-up at the back end of the top 10.
Going into dark, Jay. The track's evened out with ambient, which is interesting. 20 degrees all around now. So that could be playing into the hands of those Porsches with the hot tyres, or the dying tyre. I was going to say about Angel Inestrosa, that could have been a little chink in the armour. He's recently, I say recently, in the past 2 or 3 seasons, come over from Gran Turismo Sport, over to ACC. And that could just be a little bit of, kink still, not been ironed out, little nuances of the track not quite learnt yet. Grantis Cracker is able to deal with those, and Angel Inestrosa not quite. But great improvement from Angel, though, considering this season's been much better for him, and a real force to be reckoned with. He had little flashes last season, didn't he? But definitely much more consistent this season, until we just saw what we saw in Turn 7.
Yeah, it could be hangover from that. I mean, it's one of those things. A car spins in front of you. You're so in a rhythm for an hour and 20 minutes that it is easily enough to throw you off. Yeah, he showed more than flashes last year, wasn't he? I'm sure he was a race winner last season, wasn't he? Because I remember we talked to him to find out that information about GT.
He won back to the past.
He won in season 10, actually. The season before that, he won at Laguna Seca, a podium last year at Monza. So, yeah, he's definitely shown the pace on certain tracks, and that's unfortunate because, definitely his best running. Still, I think his best running, to be fair. But yeah, it could have been even better. But see if he can regain his composure and get back after Leon Byrne to recover an extra position into the top 5.
Should we talk a little bit about Luke Whitehead for a second?
I suppose we should. It's so difficult, isn't it? Yeah.
He literally has not made a mistake this race, has he? It's been faultless.
No, I mean, to be fair, I should have listened to you at the beginning. You said it was his favourite track. You thought he was going to dominate here. From practice, I thought that was impossible. Then he pulled out a lap from nowhere in qualifying. It was closer than I think we imagined early on in the race. Angel Inestrosa was definitely tracking him, as was Van der Velde, but it was Angel that started struggling that gave him that initial gap. To be fair, Tinko, he has held on nicely since he got clear, but not close enough to make it a fight, unfortunately.
I mean, it's been dominant, I would say, so far from Luke Whitehead. I think he's getting all of his cats in before, that's a saying, getting all the cats in before...
It is now.
It is now. Before Bathurst, really. Or Bathurst, as chat likes to say, because he's going to suffer, isn't he?
Yes. Sorry, I was not paying attention.
It's fine, deep in statistics corner. He's going to struggle, and so will... Valentine Barry gets himself a 10-second time penalty. Jay, cover the mic. I'm just going to go find out what that's for. It's probably, though...
I think we know.
I think yeah. News just in.
That's... if I was Aidan Walsingham, I'd move out of the way now. So that's going to be an angry man.
Valentine Barry is responsible for causing a minor avoidable collision, and that's involving cars 56 and 72.
56, I'm presuming, is Harry Phillips, is it? It is.
I can confirm.
Yeah.
Yes. So there you go.
So, yeah, we saw it coming, really. I do wonder if there was something coming back the other way for the instance afterwards. But yeah, no, I think that's fair. We said at the time, didn't we?
Yeah.
He should have given the position back and maybe would have got away with that, but yeah, unfortunately not. I said Nikita and Statsenko were coming at the back end of that top 10.
Mm-hmm.
They are now there. Well, Nikita is there on the back of Alexander Lee. Tadas is
on board,
front
mate.
of that.
Been for a few laps.
Sorry,
it's
I
absolutely
can't see
fine.
what
I
you're
know.
seeing.
I know. I called it, and I thought I'd stay with it.
Exactly. I shouldn't. I should trust your abilities, and they are slowly coming at Barrier and Walsingham.
I thought you were going to talk about the abilities then. But no, you're right. The pace is improving for these boys. they are actually slowly getting up to the back of barrier of Walsingham. They've got to get past Tadas first, who's kind of been a little bit at sea. The poor Lithuanian not being able to keep up of his countryman, who's in third place. But it's still a good showing for Tadas Jepvinikas. Try and say that with a popsicle in your mouth, because you're not going to be able to. It's a tough one. We might have to ask him.
How I learn all my pronunciation.
Oh, really?
How did you know?
I learn all of my pronunciations with various lollipops and meats. Never mind. Nikita is in 11th place. He's got Lee in between him and Tadas Jepvinikas. And Valentin Barrier has got a drive-through as well, Jay.
He does now, yes. I presume he's run wide. Race going from bad to worse, isn't it? So he's going to have to take the drive-through, and he's going to have 10 seconds on top of it. You know where that drive-through is going to put him?
With Harry Phillips,
smack bang next to Harry Phillips, I would imagine.
Yes.
As he got a drive-through previously, and they were very matched. They were matched on pace before, so this will be quite interesting, just from a statistical point of view, I guess, as to whether they'll come out near each other. I would put money on they're going to be fairly close.
Yep. Mini Simeon calling out some useful facts that we probably should be talking about. The other visceral esports driver in the name of Jamie Nuttall. Last time Tier 2, and reigning Tier 2 champion. The boy doing good in Tier 1. I think he started way off, and I think Mini Simeon said Oblivion is where he started. Now in P17. So doing well, but I think he's benefited from the Harry Phillips debacle, has he? I think he has.
I think just the general chaos that we've seen, he's benefited from. Yeah, he's been nicely into the 20s in the first two races, so he's definitely, jumped up into the mid pack from that Tier 2 championship, and much better this time around. As you say, he's just gained another position from Barrier. You know what? It has. So we have 11 minutes to go. The battles to keep an eye on then. So. Yes. It's Hardier trying to close down for a podium on Caracas. It's going to be Angel Inostroza on the back of Leon Byrne is now there. And then it's going to be, Nikita, Alexander Lee, Tadas, and I would imagine Statsenko in about a lap. So they're the battles to keep an eye on, and do tell me where we're looking.
At the moment, we're at Jardier.
Not sure.
Facts just coming in 31st to 17th is Jamie Nuttall's performance this afternoon. That is, very good in Tier 1. So, welcome to the top tier, Jamie. Need to qualify a little bit higher, buddy, and you'll be putting in an absolute... Well, where would he have been if he started in P17, considering what's gone on in this race? He'd be right up there inside the top 10. Jardier going wide through turns 4, I think it was, or 3. He's just going through 4 now. Is Grantis Caracas, the armour starting to show little chinks? Jardier might be able to use and abuse, but the battle I think we should be watching is this one. It's Nikita, Alexandra Lee and Tadas Jepvinikas all fighting for position. Yeah,
for some really good points for these three, and Nikita's got to be the favourite, even if he is at the back of it. He went super long, didn't he, on that first stint, and he's been cutting into these guys at a rate of knots. But it's a very different thing once you arrive as Lee getting incredibly out of shape, trying to pull the Caracas on him. Nikita keeps his composure, finds his way around the outside, up into 9th place then. And I think Taz's days might be numbered with the pace he's shown. Statsenko is almost at the back of this pack now as well. Lots of Honda on Honda action today.
Fantastic. It's a power of
they're
dreams,
not massively dominant, but they're definitely all up there. Sorry, come on.
No, I was going to say, it's the power of dreams.
There you go. You can't argue with the power of dreams.
You definitely can't. All you need now is some...
Just say they mean something else.
Yes, you need some over-engineered, random stop-start animation of things hitting other things to lead down a list of other things hitting other things before you get to the end of your advertisement. That's what Honda are famous for.
Best advert of all time.
Exactly, right. That's the power of James.
One of the best cars I've ever owned.
Yeah, there you go. Jardier is getting closer. He is getting closer. 5/10 is the gap now between him and Grantis Caracas. 8 minutes to go. Luke White ahead in the lead. And the gap is 5 seconds from him and Tinker van der Velde. Then 13 seconds back to Grantis Caracas. Oh, Jardier going wide. Going wide through 5. but manages to hold on to it.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to cut back underneath. Didn't quite work. So those curbs, isn't it, over the chicane, Caracas has been struggling. And he got ahead, because that could be fairly crucial. It's Kolosov in your favourite livery. That hopefully won't pay too much of a factor in this, but traffic might be, and can be, and has been the kind of thing that could decide this. As I went on board with Nikita and he almost pushing Tadas through. 7 and 8. He's really got it between his teeth. Yep. Yeah.
It's past Lee, and now he's on the back of the Lithuanian, which is going to be fun to see. He's not been a threat, has he, Tadas, this afternoon? I think it's a harder track for him. It's obviously showing, but he's still 8th place.
It was as soon as he dropped off. It was that one back marker we talked about that dropped him off the back of Phillips and Valentin, and he's just not quite had the pace to catch back up to them, unfortunately. But he can hold on to this. It would be a very good race indeed, and he would have done very well indeed, because Nikita is going to be all over the back of him as he pulls to the inside wall, back to the outside. Let's try and break the toe of the superior straight line speed of the Honda. Can't do anything about it into turn 1 though. And we'll have to wind it up to have another go.
Bogoroditsky's done brilliantly with the strategy, to be fair. He went long, and he's caught all the way back up.
Yeah, the Merc's not over today. I presume Leon Byrne, well, Angel Inestrosa has passed Leon Byrne, and that's put Aidan Walsingham right on the back of the pair of them.
It does.
You have a three-way fight for 5th, 6th, and 7th. And, don't ruin it, Aidan. You've had such a good day.
He has. He's had a fantastic day.
Sure,
oh my God, the Honda took so much curb there. You saw the wheel jump back into the wheel well. It was ridiculous. I think that's why the Honda's so good. It's a bit like the Bentley of old. You can just absolutely eat curb, munch it.
What curb?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
What top wheel arch doesn't exist physically? Always Aidan Walsingham thinks about sending it up the inside and makes the tiniest bit of contacts. He might have been better off just pulling out of that a bit earlier.
Oh, Jay is going off
Insert
everywhere.
joke, I'm not going to say.
it is going off absolutely everywhere. We've got Walsingham on Byrne. We've got Bogoroditsky on Jukvinikas, the two hardest names to pronounce, fighting side by side. Let's see what we've got going on with Harry Phillips and Valentin Barriers. They actually have. Barriers got past Mattia De Campo, so that's put a stop to Harry Phillips's pressure. Okay, so that fight's pretty much dead in the water at the moment. So let's see what Nikita's managing to do. Oh, goes for a dive on Tadas, doesn't get it done. And we go for another lap for this crazy battle between the 38 and the 317. Aidan Walsingham then side by side with Leon Byrne into turn 2. Leon getting the better of him, almost round the outside, and manages to hold on to the position. Oh, Jay, it's actually absolutely heating up. Where is Jardier? He's getting really close to Grantis Caracas as well. Who do we stay with, Jay? I don't know what to do at this stage.
I don't know at the moment. I want to lean towards, I think, the podium battle towards the end, but the closer action is definitely further back at the moment. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen what happened between Leon and Inestrosa as Aidan Wilson. Oh, he disconnected on my screen, Aidan, there for a second, but he's okay. Oh yeah, I would have loved to see what happened between Leon and Angel, because that's a good 3 or 4 seconds that battle caught up. When they swap positions, so obviously something. But
it's got a lot of damage on the no, it's not damage. It's the livery. I thought it was damaged.
Yeah, the livery. Make it look like it's already damaged.
From a distance, it looks like like naval camo. You know, is that a ship? No, it's the back of Aidan Walsingham's car.
Is that a destroyer? No, it's a Honda.
I can't remember what that's called. That camo. Fun camo, boat camo, why not? Aidan Walsingham 5/10 back, Jardier 4/10 from the back of Grantis Caracas going through turns 2. No movement there, unfortunately. The gap pretty much where it was between Tinko and Luke Whitehead at the moment. Statsenko, where is... Oh, he's got past. Let's have a look. Whereabouts is Statsenko? He's trying to get past Lee at this stage. They're toe and toe, very, very close together, but not passing at the moment. Statsenko's almost pushing him round turn 1. But looks like Nikita has met his challenge with Tadas. Don't think he's going to get past there. So the real fight at the moment is this one: Aiden, Leon Byrne, and then Jardier and Grantis Caracas. Who do we stay with, Jake? I think we must stay with the podium boys, eh?
Yeah, I think so. If it gets really close, the battle's behind, we can always jump back. But I think this is the time where we need to start seeing where the cars are stronger and weaker and try and work out where Jardier can try to do it then.
You've got a back marker to come up against as well, Jake. Who is that?
Do. That's Perez, unfortunately.
Oh, dear.
He's got a bit of form.
Alejandro.
So hopefully he'll realise the scrap that's coming up behind him and does the right thing at some point. Caracas will not want it to happen too soon because he'll want that lovely slipstream all the way down the main straight to try and hold off the Honda. And he's getting it. But then probably wants him promptly out the way in 1 and 2. She's not close enough really to warrant it at the moment. Jardier really closing up on the brakes. So he knows that he can potentially outbrake in there, but he's not getting the slipstream you would expect down turn 1, probably because Perez ahead is helping him out.
Yeah, I think so. The gap between Nikita and Tadas is about 3/10-ish.
Side by side into turn 1.
Were they? Oh my god.
Contacts between the two of them. Nikita pushes Tadas wide. Tadas is going to try and fight it back into turn 2. They're also side by side behind Lee and Statsenko. Tadas is going to try it round the outside, can't do it. And that is the move done from Nikita, and I would imagine he's probably going to scamper away now with that superior tyre life. He's got it done.
We did go back to see the beginning of that tap, so sorry if you missed the move on to turn 2, but I wanted to see what happened with the contact. Let's concentrate then on the top boys, seeing as Nikita has got his way past. Aiden, can he get his way past Leon Byrne? 6/10 is the gap between those two now, so that's probably done. It's Statsenko and Lee, that's the other one we need to keep an eye on. So, Jay, keep an eye on that. See if you can tell us what's happening. At the moment, we're watching Grantis Caracas and Jardier battle it out to see who can get 3rd place. At the moment, it's Grantis' race to lose with a minute to go. We will be in the last lap, Jay, I'm pretty sure. Where is Luke Whitehead? That will definitely tell us. Where is Luke? Just going down to turn 2 with a ridiculous amount of traffic to get past. So he's going to be flashing like crazy. He definitely is on his last lap. So let's jump back to Jardier and see what he can do. His last lap now, or never. He's going to have to make the way past Jay as he lines up Grantis Caracas for a move into turn 2. He's got a really good run here, Jay. He's looking for the inside. Grantis doesn't give it to him. He's going to have to hang it round the outside and cut back and get a real good run down towards 4. No space there. No room in the end from Grantis Caracas, but what a run he's got down to 4. He's got to find the inside somehow. Grantis doesn't give it to him. Jardier for the move in turn 4, round the outside. It's gone a long way, Jay. Has it paid off? I think it has. Turn 5 is going to be crucial between these two. Last lap lunge. He's got his own back on the team that took away his win last time. Was it the win? No, it wasn't. It was 2nd place. Luke Whitehead and him were battling, and there was also some instances, I think, with Statsenko. It wasn't the Veloci boys, but he's got past Jay. That's the main thing.
That was absolute supreme respect between the pair of them. It would have been so easy for contacts on the outside there, but Caracas gave him just enough racing room, but squeezed him as much as he can. It did give Jardier the inside line for the right-hander, but they were still wheel-to-wheel all the way around there and only sorted themselves out by the time they got to the chicane. Brilliant move. I'm sure you want to talk across.
It's fine, don't you worry. Dingo's managed to follow him. Fantastic race for Luke Whitehead, claiming his 3rd victory in 3 races. What an absolute crazy start to this season. As Jardier comes and gets that 3rd place that he raced so hard for. What a fantastic 2nd stint for Jardier. Grantis Caracas getting beat fair and square. Really good performance from him. Angel Nostroza and Leon Byrne incredibly close. Aiden Walsham trying to get a move on the final corner, Jay. Almost making it across the line. But they are going to come across 5, 6 and 7. Fantastic end to the race there. Nikita coming across the line behind them. Almost got to the back of them, mate. Almost. Nikita got to the back of Aidan Walshingham. Jet Venicus and Statsenko and Lee all crossing the line as well. Oh my goodness, that was a crazy 90 minutes we didn't know we had in store for us, Jay. Jamie Nuttall, 16th place from 31st. I've got to say, it's got to be the drive of the whole race. What a fantastic finish for him.
Yeah, he's done really well to come through. I was about to say Dimitrov as well, actually recovered really well.
He did.
Or raced really well, but he's got that 10-second penalty, unfortunately, which is going to drop him right down. Yeah, I mean, actions to the end. There were so many different levels of that race and stages where it was looking good or bad for one driver or the other, but it all heated up. And I've got to say, after all the wheel banging we've seen today, and maybe not the most respectful driving they could, yeah, let's just have a shout out to that at the end between Karakas and Jardier, because yeah, that was ultimate respect between the two of them.
Yeah, what a fantastic
really
little
fair
battle,
writing.
wasn't it? I'll see if I can play it back for the boys, because yeah, what a fantastic battle between these two that was. I might actually play that back from the start of the lap, just so everyone can see it. Here we go then. Before we wait for the final chat with the boys. Grantis Gratis going defensive into turn 1, but going wide on the exit, and that left the door wide open. Fantastic apex there from Jardier. Managed to get right up into the slipstream, down into 2, and hung the car on the outside. Fantastic on the brakes there. Classic switchback, Jay. Grantis Caracas struggling with the rear end of that car, I think. Got a fantastic drive through 3, and then putting it on the outside for 4 is heroic. It, if anything, is absolutely heroic. And then hung it all the way round. And Grantis gave him the space. They come through to 5, and then Jardier pretty much taking the inside. Doesn't push him out wide on the exit. Gives him the space. Grantis takes the wide line anyway, and that's job done. Tries to come back at him through 6, but definitely just not got the car underneath him. And that's it. Jardier up into 3rd place. I mean, you don't really get endings like that very often, mate.
No, you don't, and not that end nicely as well, which it did for both drivers. Both drivers had great races, very contrasting races, to be honest, throughout. And then they ended up on the same bit of tarmac at the end to give us that wonderful fight. And yeah, you got to have trust around the outside of turn 4, and he definitely had that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the shout out. I agree, Jamie Nuttall definitely one of the drivers of the day. There's a real shout out to Leon Burnt and Walsingham as well.
Yes.
Actually, 6th and 7th.
100%.
They just kept coming through the field. I know we know Walsingham definitely a long way outside the top 10 at the start. I'm not sure where Leon was, but yeah, great races for both of those guys as well. And we can't take it away from the domination that we're probably about to hear from.
Well, I thought we'd do it around the other way. We haven't heard from Tinko since last season, and we welcome the reigning champion into the chat. 2nd place, managed to get yourself in there after that 2nd stint. Did you think 2nd place was always on the cards this afternoon, Tinko?
Hello, guys.
Hello.
To be honest, I think I could have gone for the win if I qualified like P2 or P1. But since Angel qualified ahead of me and Ferrari has no straight line speed, it's so hard to overtake, as you could see. So it cost me quite a lot of time. Then Luke was pretty far ahead when I got past, and I got a bit unlucky with back markers, also before the pits, after the pits. Lost a few seconds because of that, and there was just not enough time.
We watched it unfold. We did shout at one point, if you slightly maybe amended that strategy and come in just as you met that traffic, because Luke also met similar traffic, you might have been able to get that little bit closer.
Yeah, I think if I pitted 1 lap earlier, then I saved like probably 2 or 3 seconds. I mean, just unlucky that there was a guy coming out of the pits and they started fighting in front of me.
I think that's why, I can't remember who it was. Who was it, Jay, that got caught up? Do you remember? The BMW?
Well, there was an accident in traffic, and I think was it also Perez in the Aston that he had a run-in with as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't seem to be having the best luck with the traffic, but you seem to have really good pace in comparison to Luke. Once you got clear of Angel and the back markers stopped being silly idiots, But
Yeah,
no, it's promising on the pace front, I'm sure.
the pace was great. Just I got the third warning like in the last 30 minutes or 20 minutes, I think. So I was just not risking it anymore and just taking it home.
Okay, because we did see you close up before. Obviously, you
Yeah.
got that warning. So yeah, I know the time kind of didn't change much around there. Okay, fair enough. I mean, look, it's silverware. It's a good finish. Fantastic points. It's going to promote you up in the standings. I mean, what's the likelihood this season that Luke's going to take another win? It's going to be hard next time out, right?
Yeah, to be honest, I think there's no more beating Luke in the championship. He's won 3 in a row now. And yeah, no one else is close, so GG's
Give it
to
a go,
him.
mate. You never know.
Don't give up yet. You never know.
Yeah, but
We got the mountain to come next week, and then
yeah,
anything can happen. There's more than 3 races remaining. You never know. Only takes 1 or 2 bad races. You need to get under his skin. We need some fight and talk between the two of you.
but don't want to spoil anything, but I think there's only one good Ferrari track remaining.
Okay. What's the keep us in the loop. What's the best track for the car?
Barcelona's gonna be the next best, and all the others are gonna be quite shit. So
I know Suzuka's quite good for the Porsche. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one. But
yeah, to be honest, Suzuka could be good race pace on the Ferrari. I'm not sure, but it's still a bit of the Porsche.
well, it gave us a fantastic race to watch anyway. I know, obviously, I think it was Angel had issues ahead of you, which you got you promoted up into P2. Like I said, it's good points haul, mate. And yeah,
Yep.
Flawless drive, really.
Cheers.
No problem. Hopefully we speak to you
No
again
problem.
sometime soon, buddy.
See you later.
See
Bye
you soon,
bye.
buddy. Let's get him in. Let's get the winner in. We've not got Jardier yet, so I was going to bring him up in a sec because I'm sure he'll want to chat about that fantastic race. But Flawless from the man, the number 1 driver at the moment. It's Luke Whitehead. Congrats on the win. 3 out of 3, buddy. You got top marks so far. Yeah, I mean, I think other people are scratching their head how they can beat you.
Hello. First off, sorry I had pushed the talk on.
It's okay. I was like, Luke,
Luke amateur.
Professional streamer, you know how it is.
Don't you
But yeah,
worry, mate.
first off, good evening, Rage. Good evening, Jamie. Hope you guys are having a good evening. Hope Jamie had a nice rest last week. Hope he's all good. But yeah, it's been a good start to the season, isn't it? Done pretty much everything that I could have done this season. Won 3 from 3, which is, well, you can't get any better than that. So I'm pretty chuffed. But yeah, a little bit scratching my head in terms of Tinko's race pace. He had really good race pace at the midpoint of the race, and did have me a bit worried. So there's still a little bit I think that I can find and improve, obviously, because he was a little bit quicker. But yeah, I mean, I'm keeping pretty chilled and obviously not too excited because obviously next week is Bathurst, and I know that the car really struggles there, and obviously there's a bunch of Hondas, Ferraris, BMWs, Mercs, and they're all just going to destroy us next week. So I'm not looking forward to it, but yeah, there's a lot that hinges on next week for sure. So I'm keeping pretty calm and collected for now.
Right, it'd be nice to see you fighting. And earning
easy.
earning every point you got. Yeah, Tinko's paced. You know, if he was, unfortunately, didn't get held up a little bit and have a few issues with back markers, that was still going to be a close race. Yeah, you do the best you can at Bathurst, and then yeah, it's still not over just yet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as you
Start,
said,
as you say.
yeah, as you say, like Tinko, I think if he hadn't got held up by Angel at the start, I think he would have given us a bit of a run. I think the outcome would have probably still been the same, given the Porsche is really quick off the corners and he wouldn't really have had a chance unless I made a mistake. But yeah, it was a pretty good start, so I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. I sound a bit but that's because my throat's sore. But
We're
yeah.
still not back to 100% health, and he's still smashing the
Oh no,
championship.
I'm all good. I'm all good. I've just had a very interesting stream today, so
Okay.
my voice is kind of going a bit. But yeah, really, really happy with the start. So just need to keep it up, I guess, keep the momentum going. So yeah,
Well,
it's been pretty
go on,
cool.
Jeff.
It's all right. We can all wallow in the self-pity of our voices going because we thought this was a 60-minute race.
Yeah, we didn't know it was the
Oh,
90. We thought the
no.
90 was Bathurst next week. But there we go. Never
Well,
mind.
for my sake, I'm glad that it's not 90 minutes next week. I did at FM 90 minutes at Bathurst, and it was torture. So I'm glad I don't have to suffer that again.
Probably why they moved it around. Normally, it's the middle race of the season is the 90, but obviously they changed it one early. Never mind, it's all fine. Look, fantastic race, mate. Just summarising, just touching very briefly on the Tinko pace. We noticed that if he had pitted one lap earlier, he wouldn't have lost time, and he lost, we think, about 2 or 3 seconds behind back markers on that final in lap. And considering in that second stint he got quite close to you, it could have been a different story altogether. But he got his final warning, so he had to hold back a little bit towards the end. So it could have been a completely different scenario. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think about 3-4 laps from the end, I got my final warning. So yeah, it was probably similar time, but I did notice that was the case. And yeah, I mean, I think he would have got close, but I think I just had the better pace and the better tyre wear at the end, I think, which surprised me, to be honest. I expected the Ferrari to just cruise up to the back of me as the stint went on, but obviously, as you said, overcut. Went a little longer than what I initially planned, and then just luckily we had enough of an overlap and obviously got away with the fresher tyres, so it worked pretty perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, we were slightly worried in qualifying, mate, because we didn't think that you were gonna get up there. You got some good qualifying. You got the first lap in, and then obviously had 2 failures, or you pulled it over twice. And there were some people around you. I think it was Jurapetchenko just missed out on pole because he got stuck on the final corner behind an Audi. You might have had a completely different start to that race if it wasn't for that little incident. So, like you say,
for sure.
Still little things to find, mate. So you're not quite, always in the pursuit of perfection, as they say, is racing.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, in my stream, I actually said my quality was pretty bad. Like on the final lap, I think once the timer had ran out, I was on a lap that was like a 10.5, 2 tenths up on what I had done, and I invalidated. So I was kind of a little bit annoyed because again, I knew I had a lot more pace in there, but luckily it didn't matter in the end.
Yeah, we're picking at hairs, mate. We're picking at hairs.
Yeah.
You're gonna make you look human.
You're doing my job.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, to be fair, we did actually make some commentators' curses come to fruition, so we won't do any more, buddy. So continue with the good pace, and we'll hopefully see you next week.
Oh yeah, don't jinx it, boys. Don't jinx
it. We won't.
But yeah, take care of yourselves, and hopefully I'll speak to you next week if it all goes abnormally well. But if not, hope you enjoy the show regardless. So take care, boys.
I'm sure we will. See you soon. See you soon, Luke.
All right, bye.
Right, before we run away, boys and girls, we're going to speak to Jardier and talk about that fantastic finish. I know Jamie is itching at the bit to do this, so take it away, Jay.
Jardier, welcome back to the podium commentary box 2 weeks in a row. That was a bit of a tale of 2 halves, that one, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, mega race.
So I mean, we'll get to the incredible last lap antics in a minute. Really struggling at the beginning of that race. We noticed the track was green. Was just the tyres or something on the Honda not working early on?
Oh, so I started a race with like 15 or almost 20 liters extra because I was thinking about like a lot of guys on a voice show were thinking about maybe the rain will come. So we might try to think ahead, in case it's gonna rain, I don't know, 1 hour into the race or something like that. But obviously it hurt the tires massively and everything. So it was, I mean, I had to pit in a half of the race as everybody else, obviously, because the rain was not coming at that point. So it was just a little strategy thing.
Is that why Samir was testing the limits of the fuel tank on the Ferrari by going almost the entire race? That makes a lot more sense. Well, then we'll come to the incredible finish that we saw there. You and Grantus, just talk us through that move, setting it up in turn 3 and then round the outside at turn 4.
Oh, so like it literally, like before it was like last 20 minutes of the race, I was like, okay, we are catching Grantus for sure. Let's see what we can do with Angel. And then Angel had an incident, and I was like, okay, let's see if I can catch him. And I was catching him, but as soon as I got like, I don't know, 4.3 behind him, it was just really hard to follow on this track because the Honda is like a bit oversteer car. So it was really hard to follow him close. And then luckily, the last lap I was close enough. I could actually do at least one try, on the overtake. And luckily he was defending, and he had to put himself out of the racing line into the defensive lines, and somehow it worked.
I mean, we were just talking about respect through those 2 corners because we've seen so much wheel banging through that. Is it someone that you have a lot of trust in? You know it's going to give you the room, or is there always that case of
To be fair,
just
me
stay a
and
little bit left, mate?
I don't think me and Grantos like fought too much in the past. I feel like I think it's like either he's ahead or I'm ahead, you know, like in the races. I don't actually remember last time we fought. I think last time was like 3-4 months ago when we raced on Barcelona, and I just couldn't overtake him. But it was already like a good fight. And obviously he's my teammate, so I need to obviously be a little careful as well. I don't want to crush him in the last lap of the race. But yeah, it was obvious, like he was perfectly safe, and I think it was very nice gentleman battle, you know, from both of us. I also, in that left-hander, I could have go miles off the track, you know, to make it like easy for myself, but I was trying to stay with the limits of the track as well at the same time. So I think it was very nice to see that in the last lap of the race in AOR, like a top-tier league like this, even in the last lap, you can have like a nice battle, you know, with no door banging or nothing.
Yep. You see, guys, it can be done.
Yeah.
We want to see it for the entirety of a race next time. We don't want to make you talk for too much longer because I can hear you not too well, and hopefully you are a bit better soon. It gets you nicely back up there in the championship after 2 podiums. How are you looking ahead of the rest of the season? How do you think the Honda's going to fare?
Yeah, is there a drop round? I don't think there's a drop round in the AOR.
Oh, you're asking me things that I have no idea
Yeah,
now.
because I think
You're exposing
Monday,
my inability as a commentator of not knowing what's going on.
Fortunately, next Monday is a Spa, which is obviously probably the strongest track for Honda on the calendar. But I think on I'm going to be away on Monday, so I'm actually missing probably my strongest possible race.
With Bathurst, I think, next week.
Or Bathurst,
Yep.
yeah, Bathurst, yeah. So, but there's the same answer.
Same difference.
Basically,
So
strongest track, yeah.
We're not going to get jarred in the middle race, the crazy race down the mountain. Okay, that's a shame.
Yeah, I'm thinking what I can do. Maybe I can get a laptop or something and drop the laptop.
Get the keyboard out, mate. Yeah, see what you can do. You never know. I mean, fantastic race. Brilliant respect, like Jay said, between you and Grantus. It was just fantastic to see, man. Fantastic. And again, you've joined us in the comms box. So yeah, hopefully we see you again. Hopefully it won't be next week, but you never know what happens for the rest of the season. It's getting spicy.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
No problem at all. We'll let you go. See you soon, buddy.
Take care.
Jardier's dog joins us at the end there. Obviously very happy about that third place finish. Jay, just before we run away, anything to end on?
No, I mean, it started raining in the server, but it's far too late now for that strategy. Even Samir's fuel tank won't get that far.
It won't, no.
No, yeah, just a cracking race again. There's great battles all throughout. I joke about the wheel banging and the door to door, but there's always going to be a bit of that, and you want to see that fight in them. So yeah, look, on to Bathurst, and yeah, I could quite happily, if my voice agreed with it, commentate on these every day because
it's so much fun.
The best drivers going wheel to wheel in
100%.
ACC.
It is, like you say, got the top boys going wheel to wheel. Well, guys, we'll end it there. We didn't realise it was a 90-minute one, and you guys probably didn't either, so we'll let you run away and enjoy the rest of your evening. But thank you for joining us for the whole entirety of that 90-minute race. You can do it all again if you want to, with John Watts tomorrow at the same time, same place. I think it's John, and I can't remember who does his cut in the comms. It might be Tim, I'm not too sure. John and Tim tomorrow, if you want to watch the whole race again for Tier 2. How's it shaping up over there? Let's have a look. We should really check, shouldn't we? So you guys know exactly what's going on. Have we got any standout performances there? Oh, it's very close. Oh, Fang's up there. Okay, well, we know him from Endurance. And Lois. Okay, well, it's going to be a good race by the looks of things. We've got Jeffrey Miguel Renault Ritchie, very French name that, and Jay Fang fighting for the championship. One's in a Porsche, one's in a BMW, so who knows what's going to happen there. We've got some different races for those boys. Hurt and Regina very close on points, so it will be a fight I'm sure you guys want to see, and that'll be at 7:30, same time, same place tomorrow. And yeah, join me and Jay for Bathurst next week for only an hour. I'm excited. I'm screaming in Australian right now.
Please don't do that.
Okay, I won't scream in any more Australian. Thanks again,
I think
guys.
you angered the Australians enough today.
I think we did, yeah. I think Mini Simeon's already run away. Anyway, we will leave you guys. Have a fantastic evening. Thanks for joining us. You won't get any annoying music this time. We're just going to end it there. It's been fantastic. That last lap lunge, or can we call it a lunge? It was a masterpiece in driving, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Right, see you soon, guys. Thanks again.